Yo, parish orphans and retrogrades, happy Friday. I've got Joseph Enders of Red Top Report back with me. And for the 50,000th time, it feels like, what's back in Christian commentary news is mean versus nice. What's the way to do it? And it's never, but in any of these détentes between mean Christians and nice Christians where they debate what's the best way to do it, it's never mean Christians going, nice Christians are too nice, and condemning them. It's always a counterpoint to nice Christians, ironically, paradoxically, attacking who they take to be mean Christians for being mean. And then nice Christians are like, well, you guys are dorks and are convincing no one. And this happened recently in a show that Trent Horn released 2 or 3 days ago, where he designated the usual suspects, what seemed to be his favorite 4 or 5 targets: Nick Fuentes, Andrew Wilson, who suffered the ignominy of being the titular mean Christian, myself, Joe, more recently, Joe with me doing patriarchy stuff, and fellow Eastern Orthodox to Andrew Wilson, Jay Dyer. Also, he mentioned Sam Shamoon. But so today we're going to be responding to the like badinage, which goes back and forth. And I will constantly say, hey, look, Trent, I want you to succeed because you're doing your thing. Staying in your lane is Catholic Answers, Protestant apologetics. Best of luck. I want you to be happy. Best of luck to your wife. I'll try to help you guys out in whatever ways I can. And then we'll bury the hatchet. And then this stuff comes up again, and I'm not pretending it's the end of the world. And I'm not going to call Trent names here because I don't want to do that against fellow Catholics, but it's really freaking frustrating. And I want to address what he got wrong about Joe and I and issue something of a definitive word, because he harkened back to Joe Heschmeyer saying false gospel.
How many times do we have to talk about this thing?
I don't know, but I had some new ideas.
There is.
And I just want to set with the rules.
I want to, because it's like these guys just cannot help themselves. I don't even understand what the problem is, but I'm just saying, like we've had this conversation many times. We have stated our position many times, and they continue misrepresenting it. So now it's like, okay, I guess we have to get on camera for a third time now and address this
as part of a wider episode on mean versus nice apologetics.
Obviously.
But I did have, for the record, I had a back and forth set of texts with Trent yesterday and today. And I'm just going to read you what I said to him that I think is definitive vis-a-vis the Joe Heschmeyer thing. Yeah. In general, is it true that the Christian is completely responsible for the emotional response of his hearer? No. Trent would say no. We would say no. Mm-hmm. But I say, in an age that's fast returning to manliness, manly apologetics are the best estimate that we can make for the tone to strike, because it's also more direct than effeminate apologetics. And everyone's got his own voice, and that's fine, but just stay in your own lane and keep criticizing where Protestants are wrong when they say we worship Mary. Why criticize Andrew Wilson and Trent or Jay Dyer for that matter, or me for that matter, or others, Joe, Nick Fuentes?
Yeah,
it's counterproductive, and you can't do a 20-minute video and say, look, I agree it's counterproductive, but here are these reasons why. Here are these folds in the cloth, these nuances, which really actually do enable me to, without contradiction, ankle bite these other Christians. So we're going to talk about that.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but it seems like the amount of energy that he gives to this, it really does seem to me that he thinks that it's like a real problem, when literally you're disagreeing over taste.
Yeah,
which is ultimately what this is about. You're disagreeing over taste, but you're treating it like it's a fundamental issue within the church, and it's just not. I wouldn't even say that Trent being a nice guy is a major problem in the church. The only thing I've ever had a problem with Trent about is when he says wrong things.
Things, or the kind wrong things. That's the only criticism I've ever really issued. Or this counterintuitive nice guy weirdly and meanly nitpicking who he takes to be mean guy.
No, that's what I'm talking. Yeah, that's what I mean. That
They're two different
when
things.
you elevate us to the level of like the Protestants that you're, because I remember he did a video a long time talking about how like he doesn't even want to talk about other Catholics. He said this one time, I don't even want to talk about other Catholics because we have to focus on the Protestants. But like, and now it's just like, it's like we're like public enemy number 2.
Right.
It's like, why are we public enemy number 2? And why are you giving this so much energy? Like when we even say that, like you have a right to your preferences and your taste, you're just saying that you can't have the flavor of Christianity that Joe Enders, Tim Gordon, Andrew Wilson, and Jay Dyer offer. And that's just not like, I'm not going to play that. I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't have to.
It's a silly subjective claim to objectify. So there's a lot to say here. I invited Jay on the stream with us because he got rolled over.
Yeah.
Andrew Wilson got rolled over, though Trent did reach out to Andrew because Andrew was in the title. Trent did send him a script. Trent does this when you're the main guy as a new policy that's being attacked or critiqued in one of his videos. He has a forthcoming one on, you guessed it, me, on things I was saying about the Talmud. Right. And he reached out for that. He did not reach out to me for this one because I was a lesser included name.
Me, or Jay.
Or Jay, or
I think he did reach out to Andrew. I think
and Daddy reached out to Fuentes too, because Fuentes is also in this.
I don't believe he's ever.
So Andrew, he did, and he was a little nicer to Andrew because he was the one he reached out to, I guess, in this video. I was half reticent to make a video like this, but there are important points that need to be made. Jay wanted to do this video yesterday with us, couldn't do it today. Andrew couldn't do it today. Fuentes is always welcome to jump on and do a stream about this, but he's been hard to contact. So, I figured just Joe and I would do it. And that's what today's episode is going to be on. We're going to run through some of the critiques of Trent Horn and whether or not they're actually valid, whether or not he's even saying modally, propositionally true things about the 4 or 5 guys he's critiquing in that episode.
We have a good comment here in chat. DA422 says the masculine traditionalist taking all the heat from the hardcore JP2 types is so frustrating.
Thanks. That's how I feel. That's what it's about. And Andrew Wilson intones this really well. And he's not even Catholic. He's just an Eastern Orthodox. He's like, look, me and Tim and Jay and others are out there fighting what used to be called in the 90s and early aughts, the culture wars, kind of a gay boomer term. But we're the ones out there fighting, doing actual St. Paul style evangelization, right? Going to Greece and standing in the place of the pagans, going to where the Lyceum or wherever St. Paul went. He would go to all the big spots in Greece and talk to them as if he were a Greek. And that's what we have to do with this post-pagan American culture. That's what we're trying to do. And it looks a lot different from the style of apologetics that Catholic Answers has been doing, putting dorky little pamphlets on people's cars in the parking lots of San Diego. I know that's how it began. That might have had its place in the 90s. Maybe it still has its place now. They have a big apostolate. I'm not telling them not to do that. What I'm saying is there's definitely a call for doing what we're doing. And so at the very least, can we stay in our own lanes? I feel like these 3, 4, 5 usual suspects in Trent's mind just never get a fair shake, even when he's sort of trying to be fair. He's trying unsuccessfully to be fair in this video. And I just never feel like I get a fair shake. He just never wants to be fully cool with Tim Gordon, Joe Enders type.
He just never wants to talk, and he never wants to talk about it publicly unless he's doing it by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like Trent, come on. You know, we how many times do we have to go through the rigmarole,
right?
Of like, dude, let's just like hash it out, like, bro,
dialogue.
Let's dialogue with each other. And it's just like I just don't know what we talk. There's always something.
I don't know what we talk about.
I don't know what we talk about.
You've made a lot of content on me in the last 18 months. What all that stuff you've done content on. I know what we talk about. How about 7 years ago? We did a feminism debate. You got retooled. You got the factory shut down. Now the culture's moved almost all the way toward me, Trent.
Yep.
Do you want to revise your statement? Do you want to withdraw any of your inane Christian feminist claims. Jay was pointing this out to him on Twitter the other day. He was like, you were calling yourself a Christian feminist in your debate with him. Do you want to retract that? That's a great place to meet and to dialogue.
And what's wrong with doing that? You know, like, would anybody be like, Trent, you suck if you did that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I don't get about this. It's like, dude, like, everybody's been wrong before.
Right.
Like, and to be fair, Trent's right about a lot.
Of course.
You know, it's like you're just wrong about something and it's okay. Like, we can talk about it. We can move forward with it. There's like this personal attachment to it. And that's what really gets me. And that's why I don't think he wants to talk to you. He doesn't want to talk to me. Like, I've tried to work things out with Trent many times. You know, I would comment on his stuff. I would invite him into dialogues. I tried to organize a debate between Pine Sap and him, Tim and him, again, to follow it on many different questions. I think mine was about Jews. And like, he would be like, pretend to be receptive, and then he just ignore me.
Yeah.
You know, and he knows who I am. Like, I don't like to go into my personal life too much, but like, you know, I worked at Church Militant. I was friends with Dave's brother. Like, Dave's brother knew Trent. So like, I knew Trent too through that. And I know that they would work together on different projects. It's not like this is like some guy that's just like, he's like Joe Ender, who the hell is that guy type thing, like Joe Heschmeyer tried to do with me back in the day. It's like, dude, you know you can talk to me. Why won't you?
Sure.
You can DM me anytime you want. And it's like I'm a bro. Like, I mean, ask Tim. We had beef for how long? And we just talked about it. Yeah, we just talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can put it behind you and become friends.
It's cool, dude.
But not everyone. All right. I mean, I agree with you.
It's the sneak dissing. It's the jabs.
Yeah.
It's the
that makes that.
It's the subtle. It's the subtle. You're not worthy of me's.
Right.
Stuff that it just gets under any real bro's skin.
Yeah.
Any real dude's skin.
Yeah.
Nick hates it. Jay hates it. Like, everybody in this sphere hates it because they just want to be normal people.
Right. Like, look, I've gone at it with Jay a lot. People have seen that. And we go have dinner and they'll sit down with my kids and my wife, and I'll sit down with him and his wife. And we have a nice time and a lot of laughs. It's like with Trent, who's my same religion and who I'm sure was rooting for me in those debates with Jay. I just don't think he wants to do that. So it's like, what you would really do is engage in dialogue if you actually want to be a unifying force. But he keeps making monologues, solo videos about how we should engage in dialogue. Why not engage in the dialogue? Why do monologue about dialogue rather than dialogue? To me, that cries out bad faith. I could be proven wrong. Like, come hang out, Trent. Come, do a video.
That's the word, though. That's the word. Like, dude, okay, don't argue with us. Don't debate us. Come hang out.
Yeah.
Come hang with the bros. Come hang with the bros, whatever you want to call it. Like,
5 minutes before this, we were out fishing in my pond. Joe was showing me some techniques at fishing in my pond because he's a good fisherman. I, to say the least, am not. We were hunting yesterday morning on Brett Favre's land.
Yeah, exactly.
We woke up yesterday and hunted on Brett Favre's land and ended the day by fishing out by my pond. So we were hunting and fishing all day. Literally, Joe returns to his Norland tomorrow, the Norse uplands or whatever it's called.
The polar region of the United States.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure we agree about a fair bit more than I agree about with Trent, but I agree about enough with Trent because he's a fellow Catholic.
Right.
To have a nice time hunting and fishing. I just don't think dudes like this from the kind of boomer 90s, the Ned Flanders Christian or whatever Andrew Wilson addressed Trent as, that Trent critiqued in this video. We're going to show you some clips.
Yeah.
I don't think that kind of Christian understands that the real way to bury the hatchet isn't just debate dialogue, which Trent doesn't seem interested in doing, but dialogue like, let's go talk about fishing, hunting, basketball. We went to a Pels game the other night. I mean, I wasn't even trying to stack up
activity. It's been such a great week.
Right.
It's literally just been a great week. And how many debates have we had? Probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, there's no hard feelings. There's no, like, there's nothing. I almost wonder if the difference between the nice Christian and the bros, I would say there's nice Christians and there's bro Christians, right? The nice Christians and the bro Christians, they don't understand human relationships.
I don't think so.
It's just got to be.
I think that's it.
I should have changed the thumbnail to bro Christians instead of nice, or like not mean, but bro Christians versus nice Christians.
Well, like, what does mean?
I think it's provocative.
That's more provocative. I like the title. Yeah, I like the title, but the bros are just like let's just like not care like that we disagree and disagree cordially.
Right.
You know, and I don't see that with these guys.
Another great comment in chat. Matthew Ruby said, guys that don't play sports don't know how to lose.
No, that's the thing. So if you weren't a sports baller, and this is why I hate the dorks out there that are trying to christen their lack of athleticism, which is just being less good at being a man, but by mocking sports as sports ball, such a gay term for losers, the revenge of the nerd terms, is that that's the only model of war that a young man has in our society. And it doesn't even have to be a combative sport. It just has to be team. This is our team. It's us versus them. Tribalism is good.
Yeah.
Within bounds. How to play your role, to play a specialty role on a team. Maybe I'm the scorer. Maybe I don't need to play as much defense. That's real. These guys that didn't play sports, they don't understand specialty role. Maybe I don't know. I shouldn't be the scorer. Maybe I need to play defense. Maybe I need to be a 3-and-D guy. And so it's impossible to teach how to have an effective tribe to someone that didn't grow up playing sports. And I think a lot of the Flanders Christians, even if they're good at being kind of aggressive in debate, like Trent, I just don't think without growing up with sports, it's very effective. That wasn't really where we were trying. I'm not trying to psychoanalyze. I just think that's off the cusp of that comment. I think that's intellectually insightful, psychologically insightful. Anyway, we're doing a whole smattering of cleanup with this show, or we're attempting to. First, I just want to remind you all that we do need your support. We just crossed the Rubicon, 66,000 subs. We're trying to get to 75,000 before Easter. Please subscribe to the channel. The growth on YouTube has slowed down for everyone. It's always been slow for me. I do it the organic way. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. You can say cookies, I like cookies is fine, or you can say something more insightful. And if you want to support me more than that, then you do so at rulesforretrogrades.locals.com. I've been disinherited from Wills. I've been kicked off of Patreon. I've lost theology department chairman jobs. And it's all for saying the truth about the loins, the Catholic truth on the loins, and divorce. That's basically accounts for all of it. It's your family gets mad at you about divorce. I've been kicked out of old childhood friend groups for saying the truth about divorce. I've been lost jobs for saying a couple of Homo sapiens can't wed each other. If you want to support that kind of cultural warriorship, then do so on Locals. I want Joe to say his new project, where you can support him. I don't know if you have a donor box or anything like that, but also, before I get to Joe's information, the Louder with Crowder episode, where I'm calling out what a woman is, and discussing with Gerald's Apologetics, is up today finally. So go watch me on Louder with Crowder. But say all your stuff, and do you have a donor box where people can give to your family?
I want people given to command right now. So that's what I would say. I mean, obviously, guys, most of you know where to find me. I think I've been on the show, 5 times now, 4 or 5 times at least now. And, go to Red Top Report. Check me out on YouTube. You can check me out on my X account at JENDERSII. I am co-founding a media organization with Father Calvin Robinson and Joe Gallagher, who was actually the heir to take over Church Militant until him and Michael had the falling out, and then Michael leaving Church Militant later. So we're all getting together. We're pooling our resources together, all of our skills, my content skills, Father's reach, and Gallagher's business savvy, to come together to create a real Catholic media focused on catechizing people, on the restoring Christian families, restoring the institutional church to its former greatness, and protecting American and Western heritage all across the country.
Where can people
finally something? They can go to commandmedia.tv for the lander, and there you'll see our Kickstarter fundraiser. We could really use all the help you can get to get this thing off the ground. I know Tim was super excited about it when we were talking about it earlier as well. It's just a fun idea, and it's just needed. So I want you guys to do that. I also want you guys to check me out on my Subscribestar, where you could get exclusive access with a premium subscription of as little as, I think, $5.99 a month to watch my series on the unalienable rights on the Constitution. It is a deep Catholic dive into what's going on, what some of the problems are, and what some of the things that the founders really just nailed were. So I really do appreciate that. I can't do that without your guys' support.
Yeah, and this is a very, very generous audience. So if you guys are looking to tithe or whatever, and you're looking for an alternative means, both of those sources are important. All right, let's get over that. If you want to help yourself, This doesn't, it does a little something for me on the side because I like to support real estate for life. But the main thing you should do is get out of your blue state and get to your red state. Go to www.realestateforlife.org, and a pro-Catholic, pro-life person will help you get from what you ought to move out of these days, or the bluest of the blue, get to the reddest of the red. That's what we did, and it was a real lifestyle enhancer. www.realestateforlife.org. Let's just start out so that we don't make any overbroad generalizations with the way that Trent started his show. I'm just
should we I can try to play the whole thing on Twitter. Is there a link for that I can do that?
I don't think I have a link for it.
Let me see if I can find it. You just want to do the audio without the visual? Because I can play it here. I think I just need
I have a time signature for you on the
I just don't have, I need a link to the actual let me see if I can find it. Hold on just a second. Give me a second.
Yeah. Another thing that was crucial before we get to actually playing the clip in the Trent Horn thing was the standard, the canon of mean nice was wildly flip-flopping. Like, there's a part in the video where he says Stephen Colbert, and I can't help that this is tendentious because Colbert is such a big account that he might want to someday appear with. Trent said, well, Colbert said, MFer, I teach Sunday school to an atheist. I thought Colbert was a functional atheist. I guess I was wrong. And Trent said, look, he was dealing with an atheist who'd insulted the church, so that's okay. But on the other hand, Dyer, who made fun of a fake black pastor's name and called him Tilda Swinton. His name sounded like Tilda Swinton. That's overboard. This is literally what Trent's video said, right? Am I wrong?
No, that's how I understood it too.
He was like, Jay was overboard, whereas Stephen Colbert saying, I teach Sunday school, mother effer. That's okay in the context, but Jay taking his name and likening it to the name of Tilda Swinton, that's overboard. This just doesn't pass a smell test. I'm like, you just don't have good judgment, snap judgments about what, from the great to the small, what's where we would ordinarily rank offenses against good linguistic judgment.
It was a recurring theme throughout the video. I mean, he thought I was being like uncharitable and overly harsh when I said that Joe Heschmeyer was a bad researcher. So, I mean, it goes to those things. Like, that's not even an insult. I think we need to kind of go, maybe, I guess we do, I should say, because I don't think it's in contention that, like, there's a little bit of a difference. I don't really care if somebody insults me. That's the thing. Like, if somebody wants to insult me, like, usually it's funny. Like, if you want to call me fat or like a retard or something, that's fine. Like, whatever. But like saying somebody didn't do a good job is not insulting them. That's always been my biggest beef with the whole Trent Horn contingent of things. They think that like commenting on somebody's performance is like somehow an insult, and it just isn't. Like, am I not entitled to my opinion of somebody's level of research? I really think that it's all just arbitrary to them based on who is saying what, as opposed to what is being said by who.
Right.
And the thing with I know you guys will get to this, but even the thing with the Andrew Wilson thing where he was like kind of going after that lesbo who brought up his wife. It's like, I'm sorry, that's also fair game. Like, she got personal first. This lesbian like brought up Andrew Wilson's personal family, his wife. So if she's going to go get all personal, then Andrew's within his right to get personal right back in her face, So it's like, I didn't even understand his clip.
She talks about him acting inappropriately in that, but I don't think he condemned that woman for saying that about. Maybe he did. I'd love to run that back at some time and look over it again to make sure. But like, are we going to comment on the fact that there's this like psychotic woman like insulting his wife to his face?
At some point, prudential judgment, which is non-falsifiable before the eschaton, who has the good prudential judgment, it's all suspended. It's Schrodinger's prudential judgment until the eschaton is going to become laid bare. And we're just going to see some people cannot make good prudential judgments. If you think saying mother effer is, and I talk like this sometimes, but if that's a G-rated pass or a green light in Trent's book, but saying, dude, I don't think you're a liar. I think you're a bad researcher, as Joe as you said to Joe Heschmeyer, or
as Joe said to Joe.
As Joe said to Joe, or as Jay said to Tilda Swinton, sounding black guy, he called him Tilda Swinton. Then there's something fundamentally tweaked on the way that you're arranging the great and the small.
Yeah.
I would say. And in that itself, my last statement is itself a prudential judgment. And you kind of either agree with me or not until the end of time. That's the thing about prudence, which is topically important when we actually readdress the substance of what we said to Joe.
Are we going to start doing like Thomistic breakdowns of like what every type of insult is? You know, I don't really want to do that. Like, can we just talk? You know what I mean? Can we just talk? Like, okay, so actually, you know, the reason that what Stephen Colbert said is worse because it is an insult, but in addition to that, it is also a profane insult. I don't want to do that.
It's an insult.
I just want to talk.
It's an insult prescinding from its extrinsic form. It's like, dude, this is why maybe you shouldn't do videos on like, this guy's a 9.6 on the Horn Minometer, but this guy it seems like a 6.8, but I bumped it to a 7.3 on the Horn Minometer because he smiled at the end. It's just,
and I'd like to point out too,
and it elicits another insult because you're just like, dude, how do you have friends?
Yeah.
And I don't like, dude, I know he has friends, like, but it's just like, whoa,
how are you a bro?
Yeah.
Well, and also
chill.
It's like he's not above. I get it. Like, I have a tweet on right now. He and Jay were kind of going after each other on Twitter about this, and even Trent, he was calling him childish. He said he acted like a 12-year-old. He said, you know, he's immature. I mean, so it's just like, obviously he's not necessarily holding himself to the same standard as he's asking, you know, all these other guys that he critiqued.
I think it's fine. My point is, I think it's pretty much all fair game in the world of men.
Yeah.
Jay can call him Ned Flanders and he doesn't have to like it. He can be like, well, I think you act like a 12-year-old child. And I think that's fair game too. I just don't like the double standard.
Right. Sometimes you're just riffing, dude. Like, just do it. Like, sometimes it's just fun to go at each other sometimes. You
don't pretend you're above
even if it's that's the thing. Even if it's like you're seriously going against somebody, sometimes it's fun to just rip it a little bit, like make it a little bigger than it needs or than it would necessarily have to be, because it kind of adds an entertainment value to it. Right. Entertainment for Trent and entertainment for Jay in this instance. Right. And it's just fun. Like, guys can have fun. We can be jocose, we can be hyperbolic, we can be energetic. It's like, these are all good things. And it's like when you try to stamp that down in the way that Trent's trying to do it, you're kind of like sucking the virility out of conversation in and of itself, which is in effect demasculinizing the church, which I think is bad for the church.
Francis thinks it's good. But
well, I mean, hey,
smasculizare. You know,
he's never done anything wrong, Tim.
Yeah.
Now you guys are going to give a demonstration and calling names.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fight on camera.
Don't you talk about my favorite pope?
Yeah.
But no, and that's my biggest problem with it. It's like if you suck all of the fun out of Christianity, and that's the Ned Flanders MO, right? It's like actually we're all prim, proper, sweater wearing losers. It's just there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to enjoy. And, you know, there's lots of times where, like, the church says, it's like, for example, like, Tim, I'm sure part of the show for me when I do Red Top Report is recreation. Like, part of it is the pure enjoyment of being able to do it. Now, there's obviously serious parts to it, but if you're able to add that element in, people see that you're enjoying it and they want to become a part of whatever you're doing because they see you enjoying the faith and they want to enjoy the faith.
I feel like we're explaining to people now who are viewing, like, you're viewing me and I'm looking at a lens and you're thinking he's viewing me, thinking of him viewing me. Like, it gets to be that level of analysis when you try to do that.
Exactly.
When you're trying to equinify mean and nice Christians, and this is what Trent did, and it looks sleek because it's not a live stream, and he has researchers that put all the videos on, but it doesn't look sharp. It can look sleek, but it didn't look sharp because of these wild, disproportionate value judgments he's making. Saying motherfucker is fine for Stephen Colbert. But for Jay Dyer to make fun of a guy's name sounding like Tilda Swinton is out of bounds. That's wild. Yeah. Okay. Let's just play, please, him in the opening.
If you're in chat and you can't hear this audio, we've been having audio issues today. Please just say so. I'll start it now. Then you guys can tell me to pause when you're ready.
Cultural commenter Andrew Wilson.
Can you go up?
Me as a virtue signaler who is too critical of political Christians like him that are actually trying to fix the culture.
Those people to me are like the lowest of the low of the low. You know, reps like Trent, Horn, people like this.
So in today's episode, I'll talk about where I agree and disagree with Andrew and the difference between being a strong, assertive Christian and a bad, overly aggressive one. And to make sure I didn't misunderstand anything, I messaged Andrew and showed him this script. So my reply incorporates some of what he wrote to me in our exchange.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the dichotomy as he says it? Can we just replay that where he goes between a good, nice, but assertive and nice smelling at the end of the day Christian versus a mean, stinky, probably dishonest Christian?
I'll try to, but it's hard to backtrack on here. So tell me if this is far.
Andrew and showed him this script. So my reply incorporates some of what he wrote to me in our exchange. First, let's take a look at Andrew's comments on the Patrick Bet David show.
Most of my criticisms don't actually come from leftists, though many of them do. They actually come from a particular brand of Christian, virtue signalers, right? They're always trying to signal their virtues. And it's always like, oh my God, you smoke cigarettes, or, oh, you drink beer. Real Christians don't drink beer. Like, it's always petty criticisms. But anytime there's controversy around me or a clip taken out of context or something like this, these are the first people to rush in and give me universal condemnation, mostly so that my enemies will look at them. And these are leftists, right? They want leftists to look at them and think, you're the good Christians.
Andrew may be speaking of critics more generally here, but I don't have a problem with drinking beer or smoking. I have a hard time justifying habitual smoking, but if other Christians want to smoke or drink, I'm not.
It's like you can't grasp like the essence of a problem.
No, he can't grasp
it. It has to be the particular.
It's funny. It has to be so particular. I thought he was going to be like, all right, the smoking and drinking. Absolutely. I'm with you, Andrew. Let's get to the real stuff. He's like, now, if you do it 63 times per week, I was like, you're doing it. You're falling into the mold that he used to characterize you while you're saying I didn't actually fall into the mold. You're trying to demonstrate the opposite. It's like a performative contradiction.
It was like in the video we did about the voting. I was like, dude, you're not attacking the man's conclusion. You're you're doing lateral attacks on his premises.
Right.
That's not how you argue, my friend.
Right.
So whatever.
Say they're sinning. I do think smoking can come off as an embarrassing LARP when people lean into it as part of their identity as a Christian influencer. And I think Andrew would agree that no one is above criticism. In a previous video, which I'll link to below, I praised Wilson for using shrewd debate tactics that resulted in Matt Dillahunty rage quitting their debate. In that debate, Andrew playfully kept calm and got Dillahunty to flip out by bringing up stuff that was personal to him, like Dillahunty being in a de facto same-sex relationship.
Attempting to lie to people who claim men can be women isn't human flourishing. Why, you ask, would people be this over-the-top stupid? Well, it's simple. The good is the good, man. We have to do what's good for human society and human flourishing. And if you don't call these deranged lunatics something they obviously aren't, they might self-terminate. So in order to avoid that, we need to make everybody on planet Earth lie to them.
This guy's not serious, and I'm leaving. James, if you want a refund, you
well, good day, sir.
And so Andrew won the exchange. But on the podcast recently,
why does he have a problem with any of us? That's his perspective.
Well, okay. Now look at the false parody. This is what you're saying about Trent.
Okay,
that's really important. I think he's a pretty sharp debater. I'd say more than pretty sharp if he's in one of those Protestant debates. It's a strength of his. I want to give credit where it's due. I don't think the value judgments are good because we saw the out of all proportion comparison contrast between what he thought was a bad insult and what's an acceptable insult. And now he thinks there's parity between Andrew making fun of Matt Dillahunty's tranny boyfriend, and you even hear him say de facto relationship to cover his A, right? To CYA. And then he's like, I have no problem with that. But look what he's going to say here is Andrew can't take the heat in the kitchen once his spouse gets turned to. It's like, bro, I'm not, they define spouse differently. They're bishops, Orthodox. So this is, according to the Orthodox bishop, that is his spiritual head, Andrew's and Rachel's. This is a 100% episcopally valid marriage. They are spouses in the Orthodox Church. That they're a man and a woman, blah, blah, blah. Enough said. So Trent thinks that he is drawing out some comparison or contrast that would be unfavorable to Andrew because it exposes a double standard in Andrew. He got personal on Dillahunty's husband. Why can't this feminist you're about to see get personal with Andrew Wilson's wife? Because, bro, that wasn't actually, this is where Trent gets confused when he even sides with the presumptive term, arguendo terms. They're called arguendo definitions of leftists. He'll say, don't call abortion murder or call it a homicide of a fetus. He'll say de facto marriage. It's not a de facto, or it's not a de facto homosexual marriage. There's no such thing as a transsexual or a homosexual marriage. So he's just talking shit about this weirdo's tranny boyfriend. You're not exposing that Andrew has to get out of the kitchen because he can't handle the heat when someone turns his own tactics against him. Andrew does not go after other dudes' wives. That would be true parody. Trent, here's the point. It misses. It goes way over his head.
Yeah.
He does it regularly. And it's like, you think he seems like he has a high native IQ. I talked to him behind the scenes. I still think he has a reasonably high native IQ, but that is an easy point to grasp.
We're doing it again though. We're like trying to like explain where it's just like, dude, just get the jokes.
Right.
Just have a good time.
But he says, oh, that was fine for Wilson to say to Dillahunty, but he doesn't get the joke when he. Can you hit play here, Steph, and play what he said? He seems to get it at first.
Play this part because I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I'll play it. But also, I'd like to point out too, like he's obviously using, which is proper, Christ as a model, and he said we should relate to our enemies or people we're talking to like Christ. But Christ would not say MFer, I don't think. And he was saying like that was fine. So I'm like, okay, well, if Christ is the measure, then you're just being kind of relativistic on what passes your smell test.
Precisely. Relativism and personal smell tests.
Yeah.
Smell, stink.
This part of an exchange with a feminist who used the same tactic against him. She calmly brought up a legal fact about Andrew's wife, and then Andrew aggressively responded to her.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies.
It's not the same tactic.
That's a mischaracterization.
It's not the same tactic.
Right.
He made fun of a dude's gay tranny boyfriend. We Christians don't, that's not a marriage, and it's not a woman.
Yeah.
That's a different tactic, making fun of someone's gay tranny boyfriend, than making fun of his actual Orthodox, married in the Orthodox Church under a bishop wife. Right. Totally different tactics. Trent, do you get it? I'm not.
He does get that because
that's a good point.
Because Trent should. This is the funny thing is like he should get this because, like we all knew about like the controversy that happened between him and Laura and everybody was going after him and his position then, which was like this is my wife, like don't go after my wife. And he was drawing the line in the sand. Like it's just why can't Andrew also do this? Like this woman didn't bring up a calm legal fact. She went after his wife as a personal attack.
That's a mischaracterization on Trent's part. Totally.
Totally.
And it's like okay, Trent. Like if somebody brings up a legal fact about your wife, is that how you're going to respond? Or are you gonna step up? You're gonna stand up, pound your chest a little bit, and be like, do not talk about my wife that way. Like these are natural responses. These are masculine responses. And again, it goes back to like, do you understand the natural responses? And it's like, I hope so.
Trent would be justified in defending his wife against some gay who was like, well, you made fun of my spouse. It's like, bro, you're living inside the matrix. You don't have a spouse, gay dude. If there's no parity, Trent defending Laura from some homo is probably happened before. Like if you make fun of my man husband and I'm a man, well, I'm going to make fun of Laura. It's like, that's not the same thing. You might think it is, but it's false parody. You were saying something.
Well, I was just going to say, like people have attacked Laura in the past, and Trent has done videos on it, and like I can tell that at points like he's trying not to sound like it like aggravated him, but you can't even make that video without inflecting aggravation, to some extent, because everybody would think you're a freak,
right?
And so
you're a robot.
Right, exactly. And I don't believe Trent's a robot. I believe that Trent was offended when people came after his wife.
I am like 95% sure. I was gonna say Trent's like, I'm like 97% sure Trent's not a robot.
Yeah,
I agree with
you. Yeah,
I'm agreeing.
That's
and 98.
So it's like, why are we doing this to Andrew, who had a very organic response?
Yeah.
Jay is in chat right now. He says Trent seems to think Jesus was a pacifist. Makes sense why he's a male feminist.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Jay and I were talking about this. Jay's welcome to come in, but I know he had a lot of other stuff he wanted to stream yesterday. He made the point, that I agree with, that Trent goes through some really tortuous analysis on the passage of Christ fashioning the bullwhip and driving from Scripture, from temple, the animals and the people, saying this was not an act of force. And I'm like, that's pretty attenuated. I mean, it's a close call, and I've always thought of that passage.
He made something.
He made
a
whip
into a
weapon.
Yeah, right. There was no weapon. Christ created, and there was weapon,
and drove out the animals and the money changers, right? Presumably by. Maybe he wasn't cracking the whip on their flesh.
Yeah, right. Could there be a theological point that, like, maybe he didn't physically? The whip never actually made it to flesh.
You touched a bum.
Like, what does it matter?
Yeah. No, I know, and that you're not a pacifist.
Yeah.
Whether you're Jesus or you're Joe Schmo, you're not a pacifist if you make a whip and start brandishing it
in real time.
In real time.
I have never been mad enough to make a weapon in real time out of materials around me.
So I side with Jay on that one.
What man ever used constructive their constructive abilities to make a weapon? That's all I have to ask. Did Gandhi do that? Like, what actual pacifist has ever made a weapon?
I don't think.
Because there would be no use for it. It's a central point of their ideology. It makes no sense.
Jay followed up by saying in Exodus 23, Jesus is the angel of the Lord who fights the Canaanites. So
yeah, and what about Revelation when he returns? What is it? What's in his mouth? A weapon,
a snake, or what?
A sword,
a sword in his mouth. A sword, yeah, a sword.
So is the lion bad too? Now
the lion with a sword mouth. That's, by the way, total side. That's badass shit.
It's super.
That's
cool.
Badass shit.
It's very cool.
Like a lion with a sword in his mouth is something from like the first Legend of Zelda.
It's like a shark with a laser beam on his.
I know it's cool because if I saw it, I would be terrified. It's basically my thing. So.
Okay, are we continuing?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
And you
you lick your religion.
You lick.
What is that?
You're a fucking don't talk about my wife, you stupid. Shut your mouth.
See?
Shut your stupid mouth.
He's not a robot.
He's a man.
He's a man.
With the
sorry, doll. I'm sorry. Is she morally inconsequential in comparison to your licking? Now,
see what I see there is a man who loves his wife.
I see a man who loves his wife.
Exactly.
And Trent's going to get on. Let me tell you what Trent's going to say. I kind of forget, but let me make a prediction. He's going to get on and he's going to go on, prattle on about like, I actually agree with Andrew here with what he said to Dillahunty, and I also get why he's defensive, but you can't do both at the same time. Wrong. That's not true, Trent. He has a spouse. This, I guess, homosexual, and Matt Dillahunty, the homosexual, do not have spouses in God's eyes.
They're playing pretend.
Yeah, they're playing pretend. They're playing same as if you counterfeit a dollar bill. Trent, I do not have to. I can talk about abortion as murder because in God's eyes, it's 100% murder. I can also talk about it as an illegal, not in the positive law, but as a biblically illegal homicide. You can't talk about a $1 bill that's counterfeited as a dollar bill. It's unequivocal.
Well, there's a great way to phrase everything that I think we've been trying to say. Like, explain to me in using logical proof and anything you want how you can profane the profane, which would be the relationship that you're dealing with here.
Right.
Now Andrew believing that he's an illicit full marriage. What is he saying? You're profaning something sacred, which is my marriage. Right. I have the right to respond in the profaning of the sacred to this person who is attacking me. Now, all you're asking of the other guy, this isn't inconsistent because you can't profane the profane. Like, you're just calling it out for what it is.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
In a 5-hour discussion with people insulting you, it's not uncommon to lose your cool. We're all only human. But this kind of aggressive behavior isn't uncommon for Andrew and other people in his orbit. So it's fair to point it out and discuss the merits of acting like this.
Pause.
Like any...
The other people in his orbit is his introduction, his interlude, his segue to talking about me, talking about you, talking about Jay, talking about Nick Fuentes, talking about Sam Shamoon. It's always the same people he wants to hate on. And the thing is, even the nice Ned Flanders Christians do this, and he's admitting it. Why are you always honing in on the usual suspects? Because look, he uses it, if we continue on, as a segue into discussing the other people in Andrew's orbit.
Can I just say too, just real fast? Like, as mean as he wants to say that you guys are on this stuff, you guys are like really nice guys. Could I just say, like, I'm going to stick up for you guys a little bit. Like, when like the whole thing happened with Laura, which of course we still pray for, it's like you and Joe and all these mean Catholic dudes like that are constantly in his videos were the first and probably only people that I saw online that stood up and were like, we're going to come together and we're going to get the Horns over this terrible time. And I still feel that way. So for me, it's like, it's strange to me, like all this sniping at you guys, because I think at the beginning, I think his point, he made a point which I think was good, where he was like, yeah, there are different flavors for everybody, you know, for Christians. Like, I would never, I'm not trying to say this to be mean, but I would never find Trent Horn's evangelization, like, that doesn't appeal to me. I know it does to a lot. I'm abnormal that way, from most women, but I find a Gordon or an Enders or a Dyer or a Wilson or a Fuentes far more convincing and compelling for my personality type.
I don't think you're that abnormal. I think it would call it maybe a 50-50 or a 60-40.
Yeah. I mean, and especially young men, which a lot of these shows like are, you know, reaching out to really middle-aged young men, you know, that the show type of content that all of us do kind of appeals to, like they're not gonna go for the Trent style. Like,
thanks for that nod. You're like gentlemen of a certain age or young men. So you're not too far.
The old men and the young men.
You're not.
And the very old.
Old men and middle aged. Stop it, mother effer.
And the very old.
You're 31.
I know. I crossed 30 and now it's over.
It's over. Your life is done.
I just look at
You
all
old
of you.
piece of shit.
I look at all of you in the Catholic sphere, like Trent, you know, you, all these different types. And I'm like, I thank God for all of you, honestly, because I'm like, okay, they're you guys are all going to appeal to your people. And I don't understand going after you guys, if you're fighting like the culture wars and you're actually putting out things for God's glory and kingdom, to nitpick over poo-poo language and like, you're being mean.
That's my question for Trent. Like, Trent, I'm happy that you've converted every single person that you have to the church. Are you happy that I have?
Right. Can you ever spend
at least
10 seconds on that?
Yeah, 10 seconds on like, thank you, Tim Gordon. Thank you, Joe Enders. Thank you, Jay Dyer, for getting people away from these like ridiculous ideas, these heresies, these abstractions, these violations of natural law. Hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to be kumbaya. I thank God that this generation of guys who are, you know, maybe a couple years older than me, to take a Jay, a couple years younger than me, and Andrew Wilson, a couple years younger than him is Trent. Few years younger are you,
than
Fuentes, a few years younger than you. I think I know all of your ages numerically right now, and it's like, thank God for all of these actors in the church. Trent, can you stop attacking? Like, he told me, I think he said it publicly. He's like, when Laura had her surgery and the scary time leading up to the surgery, it was only the right-wing Catholics that reached out to me. I didn't hear from any. Like, thanks for saying that. That's not why we did it. I will continue helping you and Laura as much as I possibly can, as long as you need it, without even asking. But can you remember that, like, longer than a day or a week? Can you just stop attacking the guys that really are out here? I'm going to borrow from Andrew now, that really are out here doing the dirty work, right? Like, go watch The Last Dance. Dennis Rodman's like, look, I play on a team for the great Phil Jackson, with the great Michael Jordan, with the great Scottie Pippen. They're the greats. They do the beautiful stuff, especially MJ, and arguably greatest coach of all time, Phil Jackson. I'm here. I like the pain. I like the dirty work. Yes. I like throwing elbows. I like protecting MJ if they try to Jordan rules him and throw him into the ground. I like doing the fights. I like hitting the floor for loose balls. I like jumping out of bounds. There's something wrong with Rodman. He's literally like, I like the pain, bring the pain. I'm the guy that does it. If you take me out of this equation, does Jordan get the last 3 championships? Rodman wasn't there for the first 3. Does he and Scottie get the last 3? I don't think so. Okay, maybe it's that. I think there's a different way to score, but maybe we're just the Dennis Rodmans of the Catholic world, or you know, Jay and Andrew in the Orthodox world. And I don't think you guys get all these converts, particularly in the upcoming generation of Zoomers who want more manliness. The church isn't going to get these W's without guys who like the pain. Weirdly, maybe there's something wrong with us the way we were raised, who are willing to go out and make the fight. And you could keep just staying in the ivory tower and being like, let's have debate number 167 against James White. Do we worship Mary? Do that, because it seems to be working. To me, it would bore me, but all of us have our part along the spokes on the wheels.
Well, yeah, and that's
you too, not just me.
Right. He's got his place. And it's like, you know, there's a lot of things that you don't understand. And I really don't think you understand the blood on the bricks mentality that a lot of these young guys need to respect before they can listen to somebody.
Right.
Like, I've gone through a lot. Tim's gone through a lot simply for believing what you believe, Trent, for what you believe and for what all your friends believe. And we've gained the respect of these people. They want to listen to us. They want to hear what we have to say because they can look at the blood behind us.
Right.
And a lot of them will say you're a dork because you don't have that behind you. But I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say
you kind of just did.
No, I'm saying I'm not going to say that I think that about him. I'm not going to say I think that about you because I think that you have a place. In fact, I've learned a lot from you. I would not be where I was if it wasn't for learning things from Trent Horn. And I'm happy to say that. I'm happy to admit that. But I don't need you going out there making videos about me, mischaracterizing me without even talking to me about it first, like we've been seeing, and showing a complete and utter lack of appreciation for everything I've done for the church. And more importantly, even some of the things I've done for you.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I appreciate the converts that you two and, you know, Fuentes I like those guys that we're bringing into the church. You have to have fire in your belly. We're in a particularly vile time in history where the left isn't just like, you know, under the covers, so to speak. Like, they're out and proud, and they're like trying to look at the Epstein files, look at all this like nastiness in the world. Like, we need men like with fire in their belly. And with that comes, you know, a bit of harsh speak and maybe a little bit of anger and all of that stuff. That's necessary. You have to fight fire with fire sometimes. And right now the world is in such a crappy place. It's like, I thank the Lord for these young guys who are out here being a little harsh tongued or whatever.
Leave me and you out of it. I think the way you frame the question, if slightly modified, is really, really on point. Like so many of the groypers seem to express some appreciation and respect for Trent Horn. I see it frequently.
Yeah.
Does he appreciate any respect or appreciation for the groypers and what they're doing for the young part of the church now?
None.
I think I've only ever seen criticism.
Yeah.
It's like, we need young men in the church. When the church is all just women, it dies. When the church is all just men, new women will come in automatically. Well, you know, the money will print itself when the men are in the church. When it's just women, we have catastrophe. Yeah. We have molestation crises in the 70s, 80s, 90s. When it's just a bunch of old hags and fag hags and fags in the church, which is what it's been for the last 60 years. Catastrophe. Peter's Pence dries up. We get the Francis catastrophe. We get all the popes that we've had. We get all the doctrinal crisis. No one believes in the Eucharist. That's all from not having men in the laity. Even with bad priests, like in the Arian crisis, if you have men in the laity, everything else works out. Mm-hmm. The money prints itself.
And the women follow in suit.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of women.
Right, that's right. That's the distinction.
And that's the best system.
Right.
Like, when the men are strong, the women follow. It's not like strong women bring in weak men church, which is what we've had up to this point.
I mean, it's almost a slogan on Red Top Report at this point. Strong domestic churches lead to strong institutional churches. Why? Because it is that understanding of hierarchy with the husband on top, which is the male on top, the women down, and the children below both of them. It's structured. It's structured in that way. If we have a church that goes to church because their father taught them to go to church, will have a laity that respects the hierarchy and a hierarchy that respects the laity.
Until you said children on the bottom, I was going to make a joke about husband on top and woman on the bottom.
I was about to say, I looked at you. I looked at you. I knew you were going there. I looked right at you. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yes.
I didn't make the joke and no one knows what I'm talking about because I'm so subtle. Can we play the next couple seconds of this video?
Yeah, because I also want to get to I also want to get to Taco Talks. But I want you guys
but
to
after it's that man.
That guy.
Holy shit,
again,
man.
This a guy where harsh language is needed. We'll get to him in a little bit, but I'll continue.
It's not good enough to just say what I mean. That guy needs
schizo final boss.
Here we go.
Public proponent of Christianity, there's good and not so good elements to Andrew's approach. In our email exchange, Andrew said, Sowing Circle Christians tend to focus on why the person who is moving policy and people's minds on policy isn't acting in a pure enough way, and often will actually side with the critics of that person affecting change in order to purity signal.
I agree with that.
It's cringy when
he's 100% right.
I agree with Andrew 100% here, and it's not tribalism. It's just I'm one of the Rodmans in the church, and so is he, and so are you. You know, he's an Orthodox version, and Jay, and so is Fuentes.
And that's why you guys have more fire in your belly. You're the ones that are throwing your bodies on grenades. Right. And it's like, yeah, that's why you're a little bit saltier. It just makes perfect sense. It's easy to be soft guy
at the expense of like greater success.
Yeah.
You know, in temporal terms. Like we're willing to do it. It's the truth. It's the truth. We're willing to do it.
Here we go.
Some Christians do everything they can to please non-Christian critics, even by taking unnecessary pot shots at fellow Christians. It's a kind of ideological simping similar to male feminists who throw all men under the bus to appease women.
Pause.
But my criticism...
Like you do?
Read the room, Trent. That one, until you admit, you can't just quietly assume the position of someone you once debated. You have to go, I once debated this guy, Timothy J. Gordon, and I was wrong, he was right. Now I'm assuming largely or wholly his view of Christian feminism. You can't just do it slowly. That's dishonest. That's fundamentally dishonest. You have to go, hey, I was wrong on that. I lost a bet. I give you a $2 bet. What did you bet? My daughter a $2 bill of something. Yeah. I lost a bet for a $5 bill when we were walking. Yeah. Lots of betting. You got to tender the ante. And after you've tendered the ante, then you can say, okay, now I'm with you. You can't just throw in with your opponent silently as if like, I was here all along. That doesn't work, bro. That's a man code thing. That's an honor code
thing. I don't know that he fully understands it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Aren't because of how other people complain. It's because God's revelation has said we shouldn't engage in these behaviors. And I definitely care about appeasing God.
And it's like the whole time. So in other words, the whole time these people are burning the whole forest down around our ears, right? And I say, hey, put those fucking matches down. Hey, don't say the F word. I'm like, well, wait, we got a bigger problem here. Yeah. Nope, you said the F word. Yeah, that's no good.
I agree with Andrew that being overly puritanical about language,
it's good for a second.
Tone policing is
for a second.
I covered this in my episode on Christian swearing, where I said profanity in itself isn't wrong, and it could be justified in some cases.
Sounding good.
I used the example of Stephen Colbert engaging Philip Zimbardo, who said that God was wrong and the devil was right. When Colbert gave him the correct theology on the matter, Zimbardo said, "You learned well in Sunday school," to which Colbert epically replied, "I teach Sunday school, mother effer." But that's different than just dropping.
That's different. No, it isn't.
It's less justified. And I don't have a problem with someone saying motherfucker, but that was so out of proportion with what I expected to find Trentonius Horn saying. Trentonius Jeremetrius Horn saying or defending that we were just laughing in the car. We were coming back from your doctor's appointment, and I was like, that's not justified at all.
Yeah, because the MF is not only is it an insult, but it's also, according to like the purely spars, a curse. When Andrew Wilson was talking about put the effing matches down, effing in that sentence isn't an insult to another person. What Stephen Colbert said was both like a bad word and an insult.
Yeah, profanity and insult.
Yeah.
Dyer's comment, which is insult without profanity. Then you have my concept, with my bad researcher, which is neither.
Yeah.
So, and that's why when you put the poll out, You actually, like, everybody kind of knew.
Oh, can we show the results?
Yeah, you got to show the results of the poll.
Okay,
without going away from where we're at.
That was such a no need to rebut. Look at the poll. It's obvious when you think about it.
I'll get the poll up here just a second. I had it on screen earlier, but let me get it.
Hilarious.
Because we don't have to philosophize this stuff.
It's all kind of
innate. You just know.
So this was the poll that we put up on after this video. We said, and I'll read it because some people are listening only on podcast, but which of these insults crosses the line? So we have Stephen Colbert with the word MFer. Then we have Jay Dyer, who called that like anti-white fake black bishop Tilda Swinton. And then we have Joe Enders, who said that Joe Heschmeyer was a bad researcher. And then there's an option for you, Tim, that just says that they're all fair game. And the percentage
insult here is my option.
I voted for myself just because I wanted to win, even if it was bad.
So I said, which of these insults crosses the line? According to Trent Horn's, definition, I guess, of like these things are okay or not. MFer got 28%. Almost 29%. Tilda Swinton, Jay Dyer's insult, got 23.2. Bad researcher got 7.6, and 40.4% with a win said this was fair game. That all of them are fair game. Nothing is over the line. This is silliness.
Okay, can we keep going with Trent?
Sure.
An F-bomb to insult somebody, like Andrew does in this clip.
I will never be able to convince you of my worldview. Charlie, I just think, honestly, you're too stupid to understand them.
St. Paul repeatedly says that overseers in the church must be gentle and not quarrelsome or violent, and that all Christians must put away anger, wrath, malice, slander, and foul talk from their mouth.
Wait,
Jesus.
So how does Colbert meet that standard?
I don't know.
He's doing this without thinking about it critically. How does Colbert meet that standard, but not Andrew? Where's the Jay Dyer part? We don't need full.
It seems to me where it's just like I extend understanding to the largely secular, liberal, nominal Catholic, but not to the people that are out there that know the faith and are trying to get young men on board. That's all I hear.
And what's the standard for saying those things? Because I was seeing Jay was making Trent mad on Twitter, and he was calling him a 12-year-old and saying he was immature and childish. It's like, well, where's all that? Yeah, like, I thought you're supposed to be above all of this stuff. Like you just did a video. Like, hold yourself to your own standard. I'm not saying that's our standard. Like, we disagree with this, but it's like, if you're going to say that people shouldn't like use salty language to defend, we should be gentle as doves or whatever, then hold yourself to that standard. Like, you can't call people names, Trent Horn, after you just did a whole video about how these guys are over the line. Like, I don't want to hear you say anything to anyone. I don't care how mad they make you. You can't say childish and immature and you're a 12-year-old and this, that, or the other thing when you're putting out videos like this.
Where does he say the Jay Dyer stuff?
Is that next?
I think so.
Okay, let's go.
Do we have little chapters?
Brother shall be liable to the council. Yes. And whoever says you fool
I can try to
shall be liable to the fire. And 2 Timothy chapter 2 says, the Lord's servant must.
I don't think we need to do any more Andrew Wilson stuff. Okay. Andrew speaks well on this, making the kind of Dennis Rodman point. I'm out here doing the pain dirty.
Okay, but Pearl also had. I mean, I obviously disagree with Pearl and all that stuff, but like, she actually had some good things to say.
Trent's probably right on this one. Whatever he's about to say.
Pearl's just, God bless her cotton socks. She's
nice. She's nice. I like her.
She's nice, but boy, sometimes you're like, are you? Well,
okay, here we go. Let's watch this part.
Should approach the subject of headship in their marriage. What does that mean?
I think it's more that women should be obedient to their husbands in all things.
She's actually right here.
So long as it's rational.
I see a lot of women weaponize that, but yeah.
Yeah, just as husbands should correct their wives if they have a really bad idea that could hurt the marriage. Wives have that same role because husbands sometimes.
No. That's
okay. Wow.
That's so he's wrong. So Pearl, so this is the thing. Trent made this video
all over again.
He made this video 3 days ago, 7 years nearly after we debated, and everyone's like, I guess Trent learned from the shellacking he took on the feminism debate. He has not. Can we press play?
When was
Pearl sounds retarded almost all the time, but she sounds like a genius here.
Yeah.
And Trent still thinks he beat her.
Harmful.
Yeah, but who determines it?
The person with a rational brain in the marriage.
Yes, so the men.
Amen. Again.
Pearl sounds so.
That's why,
People ask
ladies.
me why
he got owned in that video.
He got Trent got
posted
owned.
that on
Why did he
his video?
post?
That's why
Dude,
headship.
never post your L's, guys.
Don't
Never post your L's, dude.
This is what women don't get understood. What that interchange was asinine. The reason that men have headship, God gives them that gift and trust, is because the buck has to stop somewhere. So what they just said was Pearl was like, men have this God-given role of headship, and then Matt Fradd and Trent Horn were like, no, the more rational person in the relationship gets to decide. It's like, that is not true. That is not true. That is not how it works. The husband, and this is how you prove it. The husband has zero leadership if he can't prudentially make judgments and tell his wife, this is where the buck stops. If your husband if a husband is like challenged by his wife at every turn and she can decide whether it's rational or not, then she's the leader. Then
Right.
she's the
And
leader.
I said, so Trent and I were texting this morning when I woke up, and here's what I said to him. He's told me, the fact is, Tim, you critiqued a couple seconds of Joe Heschmeyer's episode instead of spending 12 minutes to watch the whole thing and fairly review it. I don't owe that to him. I can pick out a chapter and critique it. I don't have to watch his lame video.
and you brought Joe.
You don't need the premises to know his conclusion.
No.
Wrong.
And furthermore, you brought Joe on, who did watch the whole video.
I did. Guys, I
But-
watched the whole video.
It's not owed to him, though. But you watched it. We were still 100% right. He's still 100% wrong.
Yeah.
Trent said, then you gave your video the widely misleading title, Catholic Answers Says Feminism is Okay, which it did. And I was correct. That's not wildly misleading. Feminism is gender egalitarianism or sex egalitarianism, which Trent just intoned on the video that he hung 3 days ago. He said, when there's just one part of Joe's episode where you disagreed with him over what constitutes feminism. No. The entire debate from the patriarchy guy over feminism and whether Christianity can partly mutually constitute any part of feminism is whether or not the sexes are equal.
Yeah.
For Christians, all Christians, the sexes are not equal in anything but dignity. We're not equal in rank. We're not equal in intellect. We're not equal in social value, social rank, or rank within the family. Men are in charge. Women are not, because men, the whole justification that three of the patristic fathers give is the reason that Eve was not made from Adam's head is because she's not his equal. You have Jerome saying that, Ambrose saying that, and Chrysostom saying that. That's the teaching of the church. The Bible says woman was made from man, not man from woman. Woman was made for man, not man for woman. She is his helper. He is not her helper, right? Woman was made second, man was made first. That shows you these are all ways that God is very clearly communicating women are not equal to men. They're only equal in dignity, okay? They're only equal in dignity. That
Which
means
we
men
can go to heaven.
It means that God loves them as much as us, but he loves them as much as us, same as he loves children as much as adults, but children have to do everything adults say. A wife has to do everything a husband says. So he's still confused, Trent is, on this. And Pearl, I thought he was going to pull any number of her limitless idiotic clips online, Pearly things. You could pull so much where she sounds retarded.
Anything on pornography you could have pulled up. You could have pulled
adultery,
up. Yeah, adultery,
defending the red pill. But he pulls up something where she owned him.
I know.
And he's still not understanding the point that women are not equals with men. Enders, Trent writes me, Enders watching Joe's whole video is even worse because he accused Joe of being a bad researcher.
Why is that wrong? I'm still confused by
Or
that.
intentionally leaving out a part of a quote where Joe Heschmeyer had the whole quote in the episode.
Is
that wasn't the nature of your critique?
Yeah, right.
You'll say it in time. I just want to get to this.
Say your piece.
You say in time you'll make your whole case. If Anders had sent his criticism beforehand, which Trent didn't do to any of us, but Andrew, that huge error on his part could have been avoided. I say it was not a huge error. That was my point in citing you two in as example of the helpfulness of seeking review before public criticism.
Is that
Joe made no mistakes?
But is that what he's accusing us? Well, I mean, we'll see later in the vid, like later in his.
Here's what I said to him though, and I'm just saying, I don't usually agree with Pearl. She sounds pretty silly a lot of times, most of the time, but she was making the point that's really not that nuanced, that is apparently overly subtle for even Trent Horn to get. I said, but Joe Enders didn't say Joe Heschmeyer never read the key paragraph in Casti Connubi. Instead, he correctly stated that Joe Heschmeyer presented the chief place in ruling, which is the quote from that paragraph, men are in charge in Casti Connubi, as a legal nullity by tendentiously reducing Casti's allusion to recto ratio to non-falsifiable prudential judgments, which, because wives will always present prudential reasons not to obey when they deign, which is what Pearl was saying.
Exactly.
Consequently, brings the number of times a wife must obey her husband to 0, according to Heschmeyer and Horn's analysis. This is feminism. If you make recto ratio reducible to non-falsifiable prudential judgments, then wives can always disobey. Trent believes this. Joe Heschmeyer believes this.
By claiming they're more rational.
Right.
They're basically saying all a wife has to
By
do.
claiming they're not more rational.
No, I'm saying a wife can always
yes.
say that she's under the guise of like, I'm the more rational one, and also who decides that I'm the more rational one. I'm not going to obey you. They just gave wives everywhere
The green light.
green light to just under the banner, whether it's true or not, of this is a more rational. Wives, by the way, I haven't said one stupid thing to you like that I thought was really a good point. And it was, and it was stupid. Like all my points I think are good. Women aren't just saying, oh, here's a stupid point for you to consider. Everything I petition you with, I think is a rational, good point.
Every debate, even between two men, both men go to a loggerheads precisely because they think they're right. Trent, the principle of non-contradiction means only one can be right. With prudential matters, this is not like an NBA statistic we're arguing over. We can go check it in real time. Prudential judgment calls, 99.9% of the things we debate over, will not be revealed until the last judgment. So there has to be a de facto placeholder. Whose is it? The man's judgment or the woman's? The man's, because prudential judgments are non-falsifiable during history.
And what does the man do in the family? Stands into the person of Christ.
Right. Right. So you assume he's right. That means there will be some prudential judgments where the family moved forward, assuming dad was right. Well, mom disagreed, but who cares? She's mom. She's not. She doesn't stand in Christ's
They don't
place.
understand that by necessity it reduces the husband's authority to 0. That's the necessity of taking their argument to its conclusion. Means the man, if the woman has the authority over the prudential judgments, and that's 99.9% of the decisions, and then they
go, well, where she's right. Okay, let's have a debate over how many, whether it's an even or an odd number of stars in the universe. And the wife will just be like, well, it's odd, and I know it's odd, so I'm going to disobey you. It's like, we won't know until Jesus comes back.
Yeah.
The husband gets to say, he has the rubber stamp. He gets to say with non-falsifiable claims, which won't be known until the end of all things, which are what prudential judgments are. They're not a black and white.
Yeah.
A wife can disobey if a husband says, you don't have to go to church, or we can contracept, or let's go murder our neighbor. Then a wife can say no, because that's a black and white, that's a categorical. But a phronesis, a phronetical prudential judgment is something we don't know. What's the best flavor of ice cream? We won't know till Jesus tells us at the end of time. Is it really, is saying shit bad? I mean, that one's just probably a flat no, but is the kind of stuff we're debating here, is calling someone a shithead really bad or not? That's a prudential judgment. The husband has control over all his family's prudential judgments. I continue with Trent, and I said, it's also why I couldn't care less what the rest of Joe H's coping dishonest video claimed. It was feminist. You need not obey your husband's cope. Because marital obedience is married women's primary expression of her vocational love for God, Heschmeyer's invitation to married women to continue the revolution, the sex revolution, is pure evil. Like the serpent in the garden hissing rationales not to obey to Eve. I said also I was promised a script since I was critiqued and I was never given one. But it's ridiculous. Pearl sounded like a genius compared to Trent.
I know. And I can't believe they included that. I was like, do you guys hear what you're saying? Well, the more rational person. Okay, well then what panel of jury decides who's more rational between a husband and a wife? The answer is the husband.
Every time in every Christian household across the whole world, when the husband's like, let's go to mass at 10, and she's like, no, let's go to mass at 12. Or what, are we going to have a tribunal every single time? Exactly. It's like, this happens. Steph's like, I want to do my makeup more. I'm like, no, we're going now.
True example.
You have to have a bottom line. The bottom line is husband. Those are prudential judgments. Jesus can tell us at the end of time whether we should have gone to 10 a.m. mass or 12 p.m. mass.
And inviting and introducing these squabbles into the first cell of civilization, the family, it undermines civilization, right? Because what are you inviting in? You're inviting in discord over things that previously had a perfect functional answer for even the dumbest of the dumb people.
Right. Exactly.
I think we got to the
so why and my biggest problem with Joe, with Catholic Answers as a whole, is persistent desire to make sure that remains, or to make sure it is understood that way, even when they're backtracking, even if there's a Mott and Bailey, even if there's anything that they're trying to do to push people further in that direction. There just has to be something besides,
a clear answer.
Yeah, something besides just sin that a wife can do to disagree with their husband. It's like,
no,
actually, no.
There's not.
Stop sowing discord in American and Western families, guys. That's it. It's a very simple request.
Yeah, because how many women are like heard that and then like told their husbands later, well, I'm the more rational one in this argument.
Yeah.
Like, we have to do it my way. I'm being more rational.
Right. The husband is the rubber stamped, presumptive, more rational person, the authority, the head, chief place in ruling, which is what Casti Connubi says, and Joe Heschmeyer was lying to you about. He was lying about it. I didn't miss anything important, he said. Joe didn't miss anything important, he said. He was creating a false gospel video entitling women to disobey their husbands
and sow discord
sow discord on prudential matters, when the Bible and the church makes it crystal clear in about 75 places, if you include the magisterial teaching and the Roman Catechism, which Trent laughed at when I read to him. He laughed at me. Oh, do you really believe that? Yes, I do. It's crystal clear that Jesus presumes the husband is correct on prudential matters, even if vanilla is not as great a flavor as strawberry. If the husband says, no, for now, we're going to take my judgment. I'm the CO of this outfit.
Yeah.
And we're going to take mine, even if maybe the grunt's really smarter. Usually the grunt's not smarter. Every once in a while, could the grunt be smarter, the private, than his captain? Yes, but it doesn't matter, because in a military unit, you have to have a chain of command. The chain of command is the husband.
I was going to say,
Joe Heschmeyer and Trent Horn are sowing discord.
It's always a good analogy. Imagine a military where Joe Heschmeyer's standard, they lose the war.
Yeah.
The troops would be like, excuse me, Captain, I'm more rational.
I don't really think storming Normandy is a great idea.
Here's why. Wait, listen.
And by the way, there's like 5 of them doing it too.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you talking about?
It's called mutiny. You guys are enabling mutineers. Okay. And I'm not saying that to be mean, and I don't think that's what you're trying to do.
That's how we view that, though.
Trent and Joe Heschmeyer and all those who have counter-signaled me for 7 years, since 2018, when I announced the writing of this book, Case for Patriarchy, you guys are enabling mutineers to continue to mutineer.
It's like Laura Horn.
And that is feminism.
It's like Laura Loomer with President Trump, like being like telling him, like, this is the war I think you should do.
Yeah.
And like,
this is what you
go to war for the Jews, President Trump. You got to do that. It's more rational. It's more rational. Oh my gosh.
It's what you've said in the past. It's what I've said in the past, and several others have said. The church has said in the past. Like, feminism is introducing division into the family. It is turning the family into a dialectic of oppressor and tyrant. That's what it is. And when you say that you can start sowing discord into the natural order ordained by God actively through his will, to introduce discord into that is evil, and it is sinful. These aren't complex arguments. They were designed for all of humanity to be able to perceive, all of humanity to be able to understand, because everyone called to the vocation of marriage should be able to do this model. That's why it is the way it is.
And it needs to be simple.
And it needs to be simple.
Saying. Yeah, no, you're spitting fire.
Oh my gosh.
That's right.
That's why it's out. Like, it's a wife. The only time a wife can disobey her husband is when he orders her to sin. The church makes it very clear so that people aren't arguing in infinitum about prudential issues. So if a husband says something, you know, like you have to sin, then a wife can disobey. Then it's pretty clear cut every other way.
The 10 Commandments are
The
clear.
10 Commandments are clear. And that's a charity that the church offers married couples. Or else you have this, where you have one wife saying, I'm being more rational. You're not listening to me. And the husband.
Look at the fruits.
Yeah.
Never-ending discord with fruits of never-ending discord, divorce. So
Let's
it's
get-
hilarious. He hung this Pearl versus Trent video on his own new video. Unbelievable. He should bury that for his own sake.
So I think we got to the part with Jay Dyer on the video. Do you want me to play that?
Sure. I mean,
vainly lashed out at his opponents.
Since you have teamed up with a bisexual atheist to defend your theology.
That's a piece of That's a piece of move, you.
that's that weird Catholic.
It's also funny when guys.
That's cringe.
That was
It's also funny when guys don't know how to cuss. Like I've never heard like a manly guy say, "That's a piece of."
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what he's saying. He's like, that's a piece of
it's
shit.
like Pierce Morgan with Nick in the interview. He was really an effing monster. He was really effing a monster.
Yeah. He was effing him on. That's a
And even
piece.
threatened to beat them up.
Do you have any boxing experience? Or
What a homo.
Let's not. Hey, let's not.
When Jay Dyer was on Piers Morgan, he repeatedly mocked Pentecostal prelate Talbert Swan by calling him Tilda Swinton, the name of a Hollywood actress.
It's the same logic that this guy has in terms of his liberation theology.
My name
which
is
he does
Bishop Talbot Swan. My name is not this guy. You've been dealing with me in a very disrespectful
Bishop
manner.
Tilda Swinton,
Got on.
excuse me. Bishop
Come on, that's fucking hilarious.
Joke,
and the guy was.
Not even mean.
dude. That
And
was
I'm-
just funny.
That
And
was
I'm sorry, he was trying to black big dog him. Like I'm not. Don't call me this guy. It's like we know.
It's manly. Don't let some like leftist weirdo big dog you like
Right,
that. Like, shut
right. How is Colbert saying motherfucker? Which again, I don't have the thin skin, the eggshell skull over here. But if you do, how is Colbert's thing okay? And Jay just responding in real time, like, okay, sorry, Tilda Swinton. That's just funny.
That was just it was a joke.
It's a
What-
It was a joke.
What is like the definition
Not a
of
mean one.
wit? It's like an exponential, or what is it on The Simpsons? She's like, that's just a precisely timed comment delivered with like wit and care.
Yeah.
Like,
It was perfect because like what he was complaining about is saying this guy instead of his name. So like, okay, well, let's make a name joke.
Right.
It's like I don't know. I thought that was fine. That was funny.
that was a good day for Christianity.
Yeah.
Like some
Trent's video is exposing him as having weird value judgment. I'm not trying to be personal, but like weird value judgments about everyone that I know
It sounds
in my
like he
whole
just
life.
doesn't like us.
It just sounds like he doesn't like us.
Yeah.
But everyone that I know would think that Jay's little joke was like somewhat funny. It's not like the funniest thing I ever heard. Jay wouldn't say it. But he did it in real time, so it was funny. The guy's name sounded like Tilda Swinton. She's also super white and skinny, and that guy was fat and black, so that makes it funnier.
Yeah, the parody is just great.
Yeah, but okay, so that wasn't bad, but that's bad. That goes in the unforgivable category for Trent Horn. Meanwhile, saying I teach Sunday school, mother effer, neither funny nor incisive.
No.
Stephen Colbert doesn't know shit about Sunday school, so it's not even true.
Learning that he did teach Sunday school was kind of like unsettling, actually.
It is. It's
Like, imagine why him walking in to hey, we're going to teach you about about confirmation today.
right. It's bizarre. And I don't know why you would drop mother effer there. Why Trent thought it was cool. Andrew's thing, Trent showed a disproportionate snap judgment on insulting spouses. Andrew has a spouse. These two homos that tried to. There's a false comparison that either Trent or the interlocutor was making to their homo spouses. That's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Not Trent's spouse, but the two homos. That's not right. So, but Trent seemed to think it was a fiery comparative standard or a sharp comparative standard. What else? Oh, the thing coming up on me and Joe is inaccurate. It just looks like he doesn't like us, and he's trying to arrange a hierarchy
how
of
do I
disses.
figure out how to put into words that I don't like these people and make it sound objective?
Make it sound
yeah,
systematic.
or
because
something,
everybody
like
so
there's-
far, I just liked more.
There's just a
After
reason
seeing-
I don't
Right.
like these guys. I was like, honest. If I want, I'm not going to say my honest opinion. I think I'll just keep it charitable. But
The only guy that looked like he was truly over the line was that dorky weirdo who did do couples debate with the gay atheist. or whatever.
the unhinged, like
He was like, that's a shit. That's you're like, dude, bro, you're such a puss. You don't even know how to cuss. That's not. You say. Were you trying to say that's bullshit? But he's like, what's your boxing experience? Like 12 years. Amateur. What are you talking? He just sounds like a dweeb that has never been in a fight. So yes, I agree with Trent about that part. That whatever that dude's name was hilarious and cringe.
You ever seen Anchorman?
Yeah.
You know what Trent reminds me of right now? Like when Ron Burgundy's biggest fan, when he said F you, San Diego's up to him, you just have a poop mouth.
Yeah.
Poop mouth. That's what it feels like. I mean, it's happening to be like all of us with Trent right now. It's just you big bad poop mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I like whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
It's a great movie.
I'm sorry.
Moving on.
That movie does do a good and accurate etymology on San Diego, which I lived in for law school.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego, literally, you thought it meant Saint Diego. It doesn't.
Watch the movie for the answer on that one.
Women is also frequently insulted as critics.
The stupid fat cow? No, it was by your mother being a Shia prostitute in Iran. Shut the hell up, you stupid bastard. You stupid duck. Let me tell you why, David, you're a stupid fat bastard. You're too much of a narcissistic, sociopathic scum because the Bible is busy talking about your mother being a whore. Your mother's a whore. You're a bastard. You're a feminine queer. You're gay. And
This guy just sounds like a New York
you're a whore.
taxi cab driver. Damn Shamoon.
He insults people like a Middle Eastern.
Yeah, he does. Like, I think he is.
Sounds like a guy that
we'd
like to beat.
Yeah, people. I've never interacted with him.
And claim the insult, your mother is a whore, was a metaphor for his opponents being children of the whore.
Why are we explaining this? Dude, don't explain.
And explain the insult.
Oh my god.
Quoth, your mother is a whore.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, Trent has to understand the comedic value of what he's doing. It's funny. He's like, did you hear him? I'm going to repeat it. He implemented the insult on his interlocutor. Your mother is a filthy whore bucket. It's like, yeah, we know that's mean, dude. Why did you have a researcher spend?
This is why
Your mother is a dirty, crabs-ridden, filthy whore.
Feminine queer, you say.
It's just funny.
Honestly, this is
I
why
think he might have been just angry at the person he was talking to.
Yeah.
He wanted to say something mean.
Yeah. Which we're not, I don't know. He sounded like an angry cab driver.
Yeah,
Sam Shamoon.
Kevin Bacon in chat said, "Thanks for breaking that down." And this is why. This is why, honestly, like a lot of these Catholic guys, they just aren't bros. Like it's like they need to hang out with more bros, honestly, because it's like
the
that's
best
just
thing Trent
funny, you know.
The best thing Trent could do would just be to like spend a weekend with Tim and I.
Come hang
I
out.
think you'd have a good time.
Yeah.
You'd have a good time, bud.
Come on, I'm not joking. Like, come on over, Trent.
Trent, we'll hunt. We'll hunt and we'll fish.
And probably call each other retards.
Yeah, like
almost the whole time.
we call each other retards all day long over here.
Trent,
that's all we
after
do.
having seen your video, you're welcome to come hunt with me, fish with me, sleep in my house. We'll feed you, but I'm definitely calling you a retard.
Yeah, it's prerequisite.
But we'll become
Best friends.
buddies, and we won't say mean things like your mother is a whore. Just you saying it makes it funnier. You have to understand that. I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just funny when Trent Horn says these things. Okay.
So do we want to do the Jesus? Did Jesus whip people, or what did you guys want to get to next?
That's kind of boring. I mean,
Okay.
like, what he did it.
You guys kind of
Where's our part? We should probably talk
Our part's
about
at the
that.
end. Yeah, we can't.
Oh, is it all the way at the
Okay.
end? Well, if there's something before that you guys want to touch on.
Oh,
go
he
ahead.
talked about the Ned Flanders thing.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Okay,
See,
let's-
we kind of have to do the whole.
Okay.
It
here.
was just a great, like, funny video.
This was it's solid gold. Okay, here we go.
Really betrayed Ned Flanders because in the first seasons, Ned was just a good father and neighbor. His Christianity said more about
Pause it.
Homer's subpar.
Pause it. It's like on what movie is it? Where one friend calls another like, you're a hillbilly. He's like, well, hillbillies actually they till the earth and they're good. So thanks for the compliment.
Yeah, I know.
Like Jay called Trent Ned Flanders. He's like, in the first few seasons, he's actually the best guy in Springfield. It's like, So thanks a lot. It's like, yeah, you get the point, though. I mean, like, you have to
Wasn't he,
see.
like, created in a lab, though? Isn't that where they went with that? And it was like raised by doctors or something like that.
He was raised by like freaky beatniks.
Yeah, right.
Is what he said.
Okay.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm not saying Trent was. I'm just saying you get the point of the thing. Like it's you know, it's a diss. Even if Ned Flanders was a good guy, he's like, thank you. I will be Ned Flanders. Seasons 1 through 3.75. Ned Flanders is pretty much the best character ever created.
Lifestyle than Ned's problems. It was only in later seasons that Flanders became a scrupulous weirdo. In fact, this process happens to many sitcoms.
Wait. Was that like it? Was he like telling us?
It was
You're
like
a scrupulous weirdo.
No, he's saying I'm not a scrupulous.
I know that. He's like, it was only later that he became a scrupulous weirdo.
I'm not
Are we
calling
on?
you a scrupulous weirdo, Trent. I can't speak for Joe.
it's funny that he's like
It's
giving
just
it.
weird that he used that terminology because it's like that's kind of.
This is getting seriously
It's just funny because he's doing like a discourse now on
I don't
Ned
want to
Flanders.
Ned
I
Flanders.
don't want to I'm psychoanalyzing Ned Flanders.
Yeah.
Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, it's funny. This is so much detail. He just does
Like-
he's like a robot.
When he said scrupulous,
It's like we know who Ned Flanders is. Like I don't need to be explained like what Ned Flanders like aura is. Like
He's like,
I'm an American woman.
she was compared to Helen of Troy. Helen of Troy was the mythic, godlike woman with the following measurements on her bust, her waist, and her legs were seen to be supple. It's like, dude, we know the whole point is Helen of Troy is a well-known archetype. So is Ned Flanders. You don't have to explain archetypes to us. Well, we've derailed because Trent has derailed, but I think he goes on about Ned Flanders for like 5 more minutes. I've had this cold
Maybe
for
it's not
a
about-
month. It's
maybe it's-
rotting my brain.
Maybe it's not about Trent Horn. Maybe it's about all the fun along the way
that we had.
All the friends that we
all the
made.
friends
All
we
the
made
friends
along
we-
the way.
Yeah.
And plus, like Ned Flanders is a hilarious character. He's managing to like suck the fun out of like the whole character of Ned Flanders, like describing him like ultra, like robotically. It's like Ned Flanders is hilarious in this whole series.
Where they get exaggerated to the point of caricature, and it's called Flanderization. In our exchange,
What?
the Ned Flanders thing refers to the
Is that
irony
real?
of Ned Flanders being the only decent person in Springfield, and everybody else being horrible, basically. Those aren't the people I try to reach, but the Mr. Burns types instead. And that's fair. Most people are lukewarm about the truth. They aren't like psychos on the internet. I want to share the faith with the greatest number of people who are the furthest away from Christ. So if my approach isn't attractive to a minority of people online, but it is attractive to a larger number of average people on and offline, then that's okay with me.
Well, contrarily, it's okay with you guys if you reach a smaller amount of people
Wait,
who
am
his approach wouldn't necessarily appeal to.
Right.
Am I missing something? He just like did he just that sounds like he just conceded our point.
It kind of sounds like
Yeah,
that.
wait. I don't understand. So is it not a problem? That's
I don't know.
wait. Is it not a problem that we have our own style?
Yeah,
Or
I
is
know.
it a
That's what-
problem that we have our own style?
Yeah, he kind of just contradicted the whole point of the video.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
That is a contradiction. It's got
Yeah. The fundamental
text
contradiction.
him, clarify that. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I'll have to.
I don't understand.
It's so funny that Ned Flanders was just dealt with so like blandly.
When he pulled up a Wikipedia page that said Flanderization. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this live. Just like
Just like shooting within the
I
head.
just didn't know what to do with that. I've
Yeah.
never seen that before.
We just had to sit there while it happened to us.
Oh man.
All right, let's just see what's next.
Okay, so next is you guys, right?
Yeah, I
So
think so.
let me play this. Let me see if I brought it back. a little bit.
Serious face back. Actually, no, I'm not even gonna.
Center.
A papal quote that they claimed refuted his position on biblical
Here, I'll back it up a little bit.
her, and then critiqued her position without publicly identifying her. In contrast, Timothy Gordon and Joe Enders recently critiqued my colleague Joe Heschmeyer and accused him of incompetently missing or deliberately hiding a papal quote that they claimed refuted his position on biblical headship in marriage.
Okay, pause. I don't know if you're a poor wrong. That's wrong. I think that's like the first thing that I'd like to say. I colloquially said, "Did you even read it?" Or I colloquially was saying, like, dude, it's in like the same paragraph. I was saying like you need to like exegete it. Like he did read it on the video. I wasn't saying like
He didn't read it.
you like completely omitted it. Again, we're going back to the bro versus the the bro Christian versus the nice Christian type thing. Like, yes, I think I told people online this. I probably should have like been a little less colloquial here. I wasn't saying like it was never read. It's like it's not there. I'm saying he's ignoring it. He's not exegeting it. He didn't do anything. He kind of just glazed over it in the video. And I welcome anybody that has this critique saying that I mischaracterized his argument to go back and look at his exegesis on the chief rulership section of the paragraph in Casti Connubi. Go look at it yourselves. He doesn't really say much about it. He has not much to say about it. And the whole point of this video is that we need to not be so mean. We need to be a little bit more charitable. We need to be messaging people before the videos are done. There was no message to me before this video was made by Trent at all.
Me neither.
None at all whatsoever.
I got a message about another video.
If he did do that, though, I could have told him all of this that I'm telling you guys right now.
Which is what he just said to me, ironically. He's like, if you guys would have sent a text.
It's like, but you didn't, you didn't do it, Trent.
Infinite regression.
I don't hold myself to your standards. You hold yourself to your standards. Joe Heschmeyer holds himself to his standards. My standard isn't that when you make a public video with an error in it that I have to compare notes with you before I respond to it. All I'm going to respond to is the public thing in your video.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that, but you've chosen to make that your standard and then don't do it with me right after making it your standard. It just makes you sound like a hypocrite. It's not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for anybody watching. And as I said, he failed to exegete that. And me in charity, not in like when I did say he was a bad researcher, I'm saying I hope, and you'll hear it right here. I hope in all hopes that he's just a bad researcher. Because if he isn't a bad researcher, the only other reason he would not have properly exegeted that passage from Casti Connubi is if he was disingenuous and did not want that section to undermine his original argument that recta ratio, meaning right reason, does give the woman the right to disobey the wife on prudential matters.
The husband on prudential matters.
Sorry, exactly. So that's the nuance here. Now you can listen to this clip and understand what I'm saying, why I'm saying it,
and why you were correct,
and why I was
more
correct.
important.
And Joe knows that I wasn't mischaracterizing him. I did watch the whole video. I do know that you read that line. You just didn't do enough.
A poor researcher. I hope that I hope, you know, I hope in all hopes. Let me just put it that way: that Joe Heschmeyer is this bad of a researcher, because I'm citing the same paragraph that you cited for the right reason comment, the one that you took out of context.
But in Joe's response to them, he noted that he did include the full quote in his original episode and showed clip.
But he completely falsely exegeted. It would be what Joe Enders was saying is, let's pretend we're exegeting a line that says the sky is relative to us up. And Joe Heschmeyer is like, I included that. I read the sky is relative to us upward, but then I explained to my audience that the sky is down. And Joe Enders critiques that by going, dude, you didn't seem to read it there, bro, because the sky's definitely up. The Bible definitely teaches us something it's black and you said white. It's up and you said down. It said man's in charge in all things aside from sin, recto ratio. And Joe Heschmeyer said literally, a wife is allowed, he said it explicitly at the end of the video, which I did go back and watch, that a wife may actually disobey her husband in things besides sin, which is the whole point of
Casti isn't prudent. That's exactly what he said.
Right. Yeah. And that's how he mistranslated recto ratio.
That's all I was saying.
As if it's not a moral proposition or article, then that's just wrong.
And right. And again, if a wife
was right.
And if the wife can determine what is and is not prudent in the direction of what's being ruled in the family, then she is the leader. Like, how are they not seeing that? If a wife can decide, step in and say, nope, that's not prudent, husband, we're not doing that, then she is the leader. It's just that simple.
It was just and here's the thing. I said this on record, and, you know, and by the way, after we critiqued his original video, we did ask him to come on, and we did ask him to come and talk about these things with Tim and I against Joe and someone else, maybe Trent. I don't care who you bring on. I don't care who you want to talk to about this. And we wanted to discuss this issue, and Joe, you know, got all up in his feelings and was pretty much like, I've never even heard of you before, and here's what you've done. You grossly mischaracterized my argument. And as Tim and I just told you now, I did not grossly mischaracterize your argument. I characterized it correctly, and you have yet to respond to what was in it properly. All you decided to do was try to use you tried to use my words that are colloquial took them as literal and then sent it out to all your fans. And what happened was I have people in my comments now coming over to me and telling me that what I meant by my own words is not actually what I meant and that I'm a liar. And now we're just calumniating people. So this is kind of why, like, just come on the show when we have a beef, man. Just talk it out. We don't need to be this way. It doesn't need to be like this. We can just talk. It would have avoided all of this, right, Trent? Right, Joe?
I say yes. Continuing on.
Of Gordon admitting he didn't even watch Joe's entire 12-minute episode before launching into an hour-long critique of it.
Is there a better file, or is it this the only one?
I think that's the only one. I mean, we'd have to find it there.
Because I think there's a longer clip of him talking about it somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a whole video.
There's a whole video, but it's 12 minutes. And then he spends most of his time mocking the South Pole, the feminist answer that I guess even Catholic Answers has decided to repudiate.
Remember when the Da Vinci Code came out? There was a Catholic list of some of the real blasphemies that were circulated, and thankfully, and I think my older brother, who tends to have similar taste to me, was reading it, and I was appreciative for those lists circulated of the 5 or 10 worst blasphemies in Da Vinci Code, because I'm like, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't read this, even though people that have similar taste to me are. Thank you. By Trent's completely fallacious reasoning to point out an error in something like Da Vinci Code, you have to read the whole novel. Do you know how retarded that is?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
I would sooner hang myself by my chest hairs from the ceiling than watch a Joe Heschmeyer video in its entirety. But when people send me, oh, look at this clip, look at this chapter of it, before he starts talking about another chapter, another dimension of things he disagrees with me about, probably, which in this chapter comes to its logical terminus, I could say I'm gonna clip this 10 seconds, and I might give a whole lecture on it, and that's a big part of what I like to do. He said some equivalent of blasphemy, like a Da Vinci Code, that circulated list of 5, and I might do a full show on each of the 5 blasphemies in Da Vinci Code. I might do 5 episodes on that, and Trent would mock that because that was a 2-line clip and you did an hour's worth of content on it. Yes. Would you also mock the fact that at Nicaea, they did a months-long meeting on a one-line teaching by Arius? It's a 1-line teaching, dude. And you did a months-long, you wrote a whole creed about a 1-line teaching. That is the stupidest, most fallacious, idiotic reasoning I've ever heard. And after Trent said it, all of the Trent bots in my chat were saying that. I'm like, this isn't how it works. Yeah. You made a modal fallacy. You made a modal error. I might go on about it for quite some time, but no, I'm certainly don't owe it to him to watch the rest of his boring, lame video. And 2, this is why Joe was correct when he said Casti Connubi stands for this proposition in logic. You could make it symbolic logic. Wives must obey their husbands in all things but sin. It's there in 2 different paragraphs. Joe Heschmeyer read them and then contradicted them with his analysis that was portending to be
by glazing over one part.
By glazing over it after having read them. That is not even a small technical error on your part. That's literally an error in commentary or subversion by Joe Heschmeyer.
Could it be bad research?
Yeah.
And I call bull.
I would say more bad commentary, but
well, sure, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
you weren't being mean.
It's not even an insult. Like, it's my appraisal of your work.
Yeah.
And I call
BS by the fact that I think my appraisal of your work in that video is poor research, bad research.
And I call BS too. Like every time he's critiquing Fuentes, I doubt he's watching every single minute of the video.
No. Yeah,
come on.
That's a great point.
Does he watch all of? I mean,
he has the 3-hour episode of America First.
And did he watch this entire video that he's clipping here? I mean, this is what we're saying. It's an infinite regression. It's a standard that he's just like thrown out into the ether.
Well, we have to see. The thing is we're held to this by him.
Right.
Yeah.
We're held to this by him. And I was like, well, first off, no, we're not. And I'm not gonna. I will not meet your standards because I intend not to.
Because they're bullshit.
Yeah.
And you don't even believe your own standards.
And
like
then,
you said,
you don't even, yeah, right.
How many times have I heard Trent Horn critiquing Nick Fuentes in the last 18 months? Many. Does that mean that each of those nights or days I heard a criticism, he watched the 2 or 3 hour America First show? Trent's watching Nick Fuentes very, very frequently, if that's the case. He's like a regular viewer of Rules for Retrogrades all the way through, cradle to grave, each episode, if that's true. Because I come up a lot. Fuentes might be the only guy that comes up more often than I do on Trent's show. Jay Dyer comes up quite a bit. You come up quite a bit. And is he watching all your stuff? Andrew Wilson.
He must be our biggest fan.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
If he's following his own standard. All right. So
should we continue this?
I guess so. Yeah, we should. There was other stuff.
Because I do want to get to Taco Talks. I want your guys' approach on that.
Yeah. I'll even notice the two things Tim says there. First, he's intentionally choosing not to engage with the actual argument I'm making. He's just going to engage with the soundbite from it somebody put up on Twitter. And second,
wait.
The soundbite is his argument.
The soundbite is your argument. Now, this is something that works with midwits, dude. They'll say this. They're like, "That's a proof text," or "That's a soundbite." Wait, you're saying
they falling for that?
Wait, unless your claim, Joe Heschmeyer, is that this was AI that altered what you were saying. Okay, then the soundbite wouldn't be your argument. The soundbite is your argument.
That was his face and voice being used in that soundbite, right?
Right.
Like, okay, so there's the words that came out of his voice box,
right?
And you were responding to that.
It's his entire argument.
Okay,
he was saying what Joe Heschmeyer was saying. His entire argument was the line that Joe Enders pulled from Casti Connubi was: the husband has the chief place in ruling the home, the wife has the chief place in love. So she's under him. What this means is, blah, blah, blah. His analysis over the next 2 minutes was, but she may disobey him whenever she privately deems, whether correct or not, that his judgment is out of proportion with recto ratio. In other words, wives don't have to obey their husband, not only for orders that fail to comport with the 10 Commandments, but for anything that they disagree about. In other words, wives don't have to obey their husbands. QED, he is a feminist. That I walked you guys through that very fairly.
Right, and you know what the response to that is. Well, no, it's only when it's something reasonable. It's like, okay, well, who's the authority of what is and isn't reasonable? You're
with Pearl owns Trent on
what Pearl owned exactly. So he's making the same argument Trent is. He just added a couple extra steps.
Right.
That's all it is.
A revolution is not a revolution unless it can defend itself. Right. A proposition does not interpret itself. Husbands and wives, maybe you've noticed if you're married out there, or you've even had a girlfriend. Men and women don't agree about everything. Friends never agree about anything. No two human beings agree about anything. But like you expressed it about 20 minutes ago, really ably, and I said, yeah, you're spitting fire. That's the whole point of Jesus leaving a crystal clear system of guidelines. Some are harder, some are softer. That's what the 10 Commandments was for Moses. So that even the dumbest in humanity can have a crystal clear consultation of, here's how to have a thriving society, or society of the home, like Andrew Wilson said.
Difficult, but simple.
Difficult, but simple. It's difficult to have a great home, but we need to know men are absolutely in charge. Your 3-year-old baby has to listen to the man, even if the man will, from time to time, give prudential orders that at the end of time, Jesus will say, you probably shouldn't have given that order. The baby still has to listen. The 5-year-old still has to listen. The woman of the house, his wife.
But then we all take a step back when it's the wife, right? That's their argument. It doesn't work.
It doesn't
and only Jesus can tell the husband, right? Like that his decision was incorrect.
It's a breakdown of structure. It's a breakdown of hierarchy. It's fundamentally anti-Catholic, and it even goes against subsidiarity.
Think about it like this, okay? I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. They got ripped off when they played the Broncos because sorry guys, that was a catch, right? I mean, maybe I'm outing myself as a Bills fan. That was a catch. The refs deemed it in an authoritative way that it was an interception by, I'm forgetting, it was Brandon Cooks that made the catch, right? For the Bills. The Broncos defensive end was called decisively as the one who intercepted the ball. terrible, terrible ref judgment. History, let's say Jesus, when he comes back at the end of time, is going to take those 2 referees and say, you goofed up the entire 2026 NFL playoffs. I know Jesus doesn't care about this probably, but he's going to say, the Bills beat the Broncos. The Broncos probably wouldn't have won the next 2 games. They probably should have gotten their first ever NFL ring in 2026. Now you see my bias seeping through. But the point is, who had the definitive judgment? The referee, even though he was wrong, and he'll probably hear about it at the end of all things. That's the husband.
The players rise up.
Right.
No, of course not.
You can't.
You cannot.
That's why a bad referee sucks. That's why a bad husband sucks. That's why having a non-perfect referee or husband is part of real life.
You sow discord into the game, and the game cannot be and the game cannot be
played at all.
Be played. Like it can't be enjoyable.
Yeah.
It can't be flourishing. Like none of it. It's hollow. It's empty, which is what most marriages are today because they don't have the structure that they need.
The clear, whatever you said earlier was so good. The clear black letter law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the husband will be proven wrong. Maybe the strawberry ice cream, his favorite, is actually not as good as vanilla ice cream, the wife's favorite at the end of the time. But if he says, I'm going to the store and it's my decision to make prudentially, I'm just getting us all strawberry ice cream.
Yeah.
That holds good. They will be bound. As a binding and loosing analogy, the wife is bound and loosed by what her husband says we're going to do, even if God was like, probably 10 times in your whole life, because women aren't as wise as their husbands, 10 times in your whole life over a 50-year marriage, 2 times a year or whatever that is.
Sure.
50-year marriage, 10 times, once every 5 years, rather. You were right and your husband's wrong. It doesn't matter. You wives are still judged on the basis of the 4th commandment, obey your husband and wife, on whether you obeyed even falsely. I mean, what about a pope who says every monk in the world, shave your hair into the tonsure tomorrow? You have to obey on discipline, even if Jesus at the end of time is like, bro, that was a terrible haircut.
So good.
It doesn't matter. You will go to heaven or hell based on whether you obeyed the given structure, even if Jesus was like, the tonsure is terrible. Why would you do that in my name?
It's part of fidelity.
Well, it's also just a way a woman shows like her humility, her loyalty, and her love for her husband is in that prudential, in those prudential.
The glory of man.
It's the glory of man. Yeah. It's the humility of Our Lady, right? It's like women constantly challenging their husband on prudential matters is really what Trent and Joe Heschmeyer and Matt Fradd are saying, yeah, go ahead and have at it, which is really uncharitable to Christian marriage. And this is what's going to cause people unhappiness.
Yeah.
I was far more happy when I started realizing like, oh, like I need to just do my role. I have no business like stepping into your curse. Like you have the curse of Adam. You have to like provide for me. You have to make some of the hard decisions. Like once I let go, I don't need your curse and my curse. I have the curse of, pains in childbirth and things like that women have. Once I let go of like unnecessarily like your curse, I'm trying to take on things that you're supposed to do. I was far more happier, and you were too, and it makes sense because the church isn't wrong about this stuff. And women just need to understand, like, you don't have the right to deny your husband God's gift to him. God gave your husband the gift of leadership, and it is obnoxious and the anti-marriage and sinful for you to presume that you're going to somehow direct or to take away from your husband something that God gave him in trust. And that's where we separate the wheat from the chaff and say, which of you ladies out there are willing to actually be real Christian women? Let your husband make prudential decisions. Again, I'll say it for the millionth time. He cannot tell you to sin, but everything else is within his purview. Okay, here we go.
Perfectly aware that the actual argument argues against a feminist rejection of male headship.
No.
So he knows all that, but how does he title his video?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Wait, I don't know if he
like we literally just went over this.
We won't beat the audience over the head with it, but what I'll just say honestly,
just to find
I say this honestly, someone's like, I can't tell if he doesn't get it or he's trying not to get it. I really don't know. I flip a coin, I'm not sure. Joe Heschmeyer either truly doesn't get it, and it's a pretty simple point, or he's trying not to get it.
And that video,
just one more time for the audience. Just one more. Feminism is trying to pit wife against husband and divide the household. Does your argument in any capacity and any way do that? Yes or no? Answer. The answer, yes. It's feminism.
And I'm titled at that, and I stand by it 100%, because that is the rebellion of wives everywhere. The rebellion of wives everywhere looks exactly like that. They think they have a one-up on their husband's judgment, a one-up on his empathy, a one-up on his financial prudence, a one-up on the decision that he's making, and they think they can step in and take over the role of the husband. And this is and they stick out their elbows and they make exceptions for themselves. And this is the problem. What he talked about is Feminism 101. This is female tactic to take over males' headship, like number one on the list.
Wife is the means to divide the family.
Yes, that she can judge her husband and decide for him whether or not his decisions are prudential or not. That title, I will go to my grave saying, yeah, Catholic Answers, you are guilty of this.
It's a banger.
I did not.
They're like, but you know what? You know why I think he thinks that? This is actually interesting. But it's not as feminist as we used to be.
Right.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
We're doing the Mott and Bailey.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Why would you say that after we did the Mott and Bailey?
Right.
Because you're still not there.
It is the Mott and Bailey. Literally, the judgment about whether his judgment is prudential is now the proxy for the original judgment about obedience. That's all they've done. And it's just another way of allowing wives to disobey and telling Christian wives they don't have to obey, more important.
Well, they think they're anti-feminist because they came over onto the right side on just in general, wives have to obey their husbands. But it's like, this has long-reaching implications. It's not just obey when your husband tells you to like do holy things. It's obey when he has a prudential decision. You can only disobey when he tells you to sin. But then the last battleground is always prudential stuff. Like we've been saying this from the very beginning when Catholic Answers was still saying things that were overtly feminist, now they've kind of backed off that and they think they're anti-feminist just because they're reading the scriptural verses about a wife.
You didn't backtrack enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. We will take nothing short, guys, of total patriarchist victory.
Yeah.
Men don't have leadership if they cannot make prudential decisions in their household.
End of discussion.
End of discussion.
Period.
You will either be patriarchist or you will be wrong.
Or you will be feminist. Or you'll be some shade of feminist.
Yeah, you will be some shade. Right.
It's so obvious.
You can't be a lesser degree of what we're positing.
Right.
And it goes for the church too. If the Pope didn't have the right to make prudential decision about the tonsure or these things, he doesn't have leadership.
Trent and Joe Heschmeyer would say this about guys that admire Nazis. The guys that are like, well, I think Nazis are a little cool. They'd be like, call him a Nazi, right?
Yeah.
Even a little, even like, come on, the uniforms are cool.
Just like a Hugo Boss enjoyed.
Yeah, Hugo Boss enjoyed it. They'd call him a Nazi. A guy that's like, well, come on. I mean, like, history's exaggerated upon this. This isn't even me. I stay out of this conversation. Right. But they would say, if you're any bit a Nazi or enjoyer, then you're a total Nazi. That's what we're saying, except it's more conceptually defensible. It's actually mathematically proportionally defensible about feminism because of the nature of obedience and order giving and order taking. It has to be what Steph said about prudential judgments and a kind of total deference, wifely deference before prudential judgments this side of the eschaton, or else you are a feminist, you are a sex egalitarian. And Joe Heschmeyer proved his colors here.
And you don't have to listen to a 7-hour video when he says a minute worth of stupid stuff.
I know. Well, like I said, he wants us to say, you're just less feminist than another feminist. That's right. You're still you're still feminist in that analogy.
Right.
So do you want to finish this or do you want to go to Choco Talks?
Let's go.
We just go to Taco.
Let's go to Taco Talk.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
so
there's not that much to say.
Dude, we cannot beat this horse anymore. It's been dead for weeks.
No.
So just to talk, we were talking about like the value, the true holy value of shaming people who do stupid and retarded things. It's a good thing. And case in point, we have a guy on here and we put him on the screen. Protestant goofball. And you had a really great, you had a great line. He said, you look like some kind of super nerd. It looks like you were built from a laboratory out of the parts of lesser nerds. And this is Taco Talks. This is what you said about him. This guy, he's all over the internet. He's all over Twitter. really just making fun of Catholics.
In front of the Virgin Mary.
He did this video. I'm not even going to play it because it's pretty disrespectful. But he did this video, what Mary worshipers look like to Christians, and it's just vile. I mean, he's a complete nerd. And we were talking about like the value of like calling this guy names, basically.
Yeah, I endorse making fun of this person, like fully. Like I don't know if it's the emo haircut, the wife beater.
There he is.
That's like,
what is that? I mean, might as well show.
He's like the lead singer of like Escape the Fate or something like that.
Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, sure.
Some part of it. Look at this guy.
Just totally schizo. Like,
yeah,
you know what? Everybody in the room's like, dude, like this isn't funny. Like,
no,
what are you doing?
No.
I think you want to. Does he like? He's like, I want to show off my Smeagol impression.
Wait. Okay. Forget the rest of the topic. Those of you out there who do impressions, I hate you, because people who do impressions, you're always trying to sneak them in. I think that's all this is. I don't think
it's like showing off. Yeah, I don't.
It's showing off.
It's nothing to do with Protestantism or Catholic. Nothing about our Blessed Mother. Nothing at all.
I think you said it. I think that's what it is. I hate impressions, guys.
He wants us to know.
Yeah,
that he does a really good Smeagol impression.
Impressions, guys.
It's such a useless skill. So people who do impressions are always trying to find a context for them,
right?
And they won't stop. Like once you let an impression guy start one, he will do 10.
Right.
By the time he's done, it's like a ventriloquist. Like I have no desire for that sort of content.
No, your skill of ventriloquism or copying Andy Serkis's voice or Sean Connery's voice as Bond is completely useless by definition. He already did it better than you, and you're just doing an impression, and it's
LARPy.
There's no runway.
No.
That is not LARPy. There is no runway that is useful to humankind for you to be doing this ridiculous impression. And so you just have to, now that we have these things, phones and Instagram, the impressions dweebs are capable of doing them without getting
You know what impressions are good for? When you're telling a story about the person and then you have to do an impression to kind of give people more of like the ambiance of what's going on. You don't know the person in this movie. Like, unless you're like talking about when you were watching the movie and talking about the part, trying to reenact it. Like there's no really like right way to do it.
I agree. But because performance art is always so gay, I agree with a lot of circumspection.
Yeah,
not circumcision, but circumspection. Because it's like, because you're still giving some runway to him.
He probably believes in circumcision too. So
most of us born in the 80s and 90s sort of had it forced on us.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. But
I'll play it a
and
little
only
bit
learned.
more.
Okay.
This is where the nice, because Trent mentioned
is
this.
That like a Beatles haircut? Like, what is that hair?
Yeah, that's
what is
why
that hair? That's what bothers me most. That's the most bothersome thing.
Hence Tim saying that he looks like he was built out of in a laboratory out of parts of lesser nerds. Yeah. This is just this guy.
He thinks he's cool.
His Yu-Gi-Oh card collection is just banger.
Yeah.
This guy, this is like what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. It's like nice versus mean Christians. Like nice Christians will just see this and they'll be like, oh, okay, this guy needs mean Christians in his life to like
He's gonna
make
be very
fun of him.
happy that we talked about this. Like, ooh,
oh yeah, sure.
Me.
Yeah.
Did you see my Smeagol impression?
Isn't it good? I mean, it did sound like Smeagol, but you still lose. But
Yeah.
it's not a win.
If a guy like knew how to do impressions this well, like when I was a single woman, I'd be like, no, thank you. Like weirdo. It's too artsy.
Frame it in
Maybe
the
he
past.
thinks this is gonna get chicks.
Yeah.
He goes up to the woman at like Denny's, the Denny's waitress.
Yeah.
You want to hear my Smeagol impression?
Or just say something about her plate of eggs without even giving her the option to say no.
Wants this to go out with me?
Yeah.
It's so weird and gross.
So funny.
Okay, here we go.
Yes, you do. I see it right there. Yes, I can see it.
I mean, look at that guy.
Whoa, you got him right at the soy face.
Yeah.
Too, man. That's really good. It's like, and they're like pointing at something behind them and telling you to look. Like you see these He's soy facing in his own video.
This guy's in no
soy face in your own video.
This guy's in no position to be making fun of anyone.
No.
Like it just
this is the definition of a lol cow.
Yep.
He has no following, no relevance because of his ideas, his brevity, his gravitas. There's nothing to him at all whatsoever, except that people like to laugh at everything that like he does seriously.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a lol cow.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Lol at the cow, people. Lol at the cow.
He's the platonic form of a lol cow.
And then your comment underneath his video got a lot of traction. And again, I'm sure Trent Horn would have a problem with this.
I wrote something rude, and I do not apologize for
what
it.
did you want to read? Because I don't want to say curse words on online, but you can.
Obviously, you're a complete fucking faggot in at least a dozen ways.
Like,
W.
That was
and that ratioed him. He literally had like 250 likes. That's it. That's sitting pretty at 400 likes as of now. So I didn't. Well, you didn't even have to think. That's why I didn't like that. First off, people with big vocabulary swear because sometimes it's the appropriate word in the sentence, as here. And by the way, I didn't even have to think. That just came out, and it still ratioed the guy.
That was just natural. That was just
so everybody that liked that thought that same thing initially as well.
Right.
Well, that's the whole point. That's the connection that was made.
Right.
So just so you know, that many people think you're a homo.
As of right now, 420 people think that he's a homo, and only 257 people think that was like a really non-homo video.
Are we allowed to say that on YouTube? I know YouTube's lean.
We are not.
So I read it sort of. So
that's why I didn't. I'm not going to be the one that gets you banned.
Yeah.
We're used to it.
Should we take this? Should we take this stream down? Well, I don't want to get banned for reading a tweet.
No, I don't think they're going to.
That's going to be fine.
That like you could even go back and just lower your volume right there.
Yeah.
There's not an issue.
So I mean, again, like the virtues of this is like it's good. I want to say this was like a public service thing that you did. Like this guy needed to be called, he was called, what you called him. Like that's good for his soul. I hope next time he posts something this homo, like he thinks about that comment. I remember there was a girl online on Twitter. She had like a stupid nose ring, and one guy online said that she looked like a bull and she looked stupid and retarded. And like she at first was really upset by that, but then she took to Twitter later and she was like, it actually hurt my feelings so much that I took the ring out. And like I met a nice guy, and I'm in a happy relationship. It's like bullying is great.
Yeah, it works a lot.
Like I don't see the problem.
Conform to the good or you're a loser is a pretty compelling argument.
It is.
And that's really where
saved lives.
Yeah, really.
And this is how I feel about even just like I let not the church like bully me in a bad way or anything, but it's like when I read scripture in scriptures talking like a lot of ish about women, and it's like, man, that was good bullying for me. Like when scripture makes fun of women being hard to control and loud mouths and intemperate and emotional, I'm like, man, that's really good bullying for me, because then it helps me to like recenter myself and to control my impulses.
You know what God thinks about you on a bad day, not just you, but me. Like everyone needs to know it's called compunction, right? The doctrine of what are my special weaknesses and how I'm really smelly and I'm really dorky, thinking I'm cool. On my dorkiest day where I think I'm my most cool, the great saints meditate on compunction and pray for compunction. Let me see myself the way God does. And I'm like, I thought I was so cool, in 1989 when I had those neon shorts, and I wasn't. Alas and alack.
It's everybody likes to talk about like, bullying causes all these people to, I guess, YouTube, right? Unalive or whatever, over themselves. And it's just like, yeah, but how many people would have continued to live miserable, bleak, dark, and depressing lives had they not been bullied out of doing these ridiculous and retarded things?
Yeah, because we all have those stupid retarded
you know what I mean?
things.
Like how many would have not unalived over that?
Right.
They only talk about the one side of the coin where people were too mean to a person and they did something terrible. But what about the other side? How many lives has bullying saved?
I have been like, I am the woman that I am today because I allow bullying to like affect my life in a positive way. When people say things that are true, or they critique me, or they do some things where I'm like, oh, that's actually a good point.
That's why you have men walking around with blankies. Like this, seriously. Like it's, nobody when they were 5 told them, dude, you gotta stop. You gotta stop.
Well, that's the problem. There's not enough bullying now, where it's like people are just a little too comfortable, like following through with all their bad ideas. You know, like wearing dresses and when you're a dude, and you know, like coming out with crazy pronoun. I mean, it's just like all of that. It's like that's why bullying is a really great, wonderful thing. Which Tim, you did very well today, bullying this guy. So good job.
More to come.
Day is full.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
We got to do.
Let's just
let's just read the super chats real fast. There's not very many. Okay, so this might be a heavy question, but what ultimately made you decide Catholicism over EO? A little off topic, they said.
Me?
Yeah.
I just the 3 papal. I mean, I never seriously considered Eastern Orthodoxy, but the 3 papal passages in the Bible and what everyone believed who was a Christian for the next 1,000 years about the Pope. And I mean, look, if I were serious, I don't get, obviously I take more Orthodoxy more seriously than Protestantism because it's worth taking a little more seriously. But all you need to do is think about it this way. For 1,000 years, the Orthodox accepted the Pope as the boss, the guy that could excommunicate even the second in charge in the church, even their patriarchs. And then because of political problems and the East and the West really liked each other less than they ever had before, they just stopped. They just stopped acknowledging the Pope. And they never, and you guys who don't demand to know, well, why did you accept the Pope for 1,000 years and now you just don't have to? How does that work? Like, I'm not the most inquisitive guy since sliced bread, but I'm inquisitive enough for that to stick in my craw. That would really bother me. That's just an obvious one. And if you're like, well, Francis is bad, I'm like, yeah, Francis is really bad. I'm not, but having a papa is better than having no papa at all, especially when your own religion, because Eastern Orthodoxy isn't a lol cow. It does go all the way back to the apostles, unlike Protestantism, especially when for the first half of the timeline, I acknowledged as an EO, if I'm you, that papa is necessary. There's just no good answer for it. For 1,000 years, we need a pope. He's number one. The last 1,000 years is like, please don't ask about that. Why don't you have a pope? It's unbelievable. And this is Andrew Orozco's upcoming book that they may be one is going to be really killer, kind of EO apologetics. It's really putting into perspective how glaring that omission is, that there has to be a visible sign of unity on earth.
Very good. Next one just said, thank you, Tim, for all you do, from Tammy Randall.
Thank you. Please, appreciate you guys watching. Please, we need your support on the local rules for retrograde locals. $5 a month goes a long way. We're trying to get to 500 supporters on locals. We're pretty close. 500 regular supporters goes a long way. And, you know, there's not a lot of people out here doing what Rules for Retrogrades does. It's a unique combo of calling Protestant homos what they are and then doing some more in-depth stuff that I say needs tending to. So support us if you can.
And then we have a new member. Dustin just became a new YouTube member. So
what's up, Dustin?
Thank you very much.
And word to your mother, Eastern, the EMHC Grover. I'll say Grover. I know Grover might be watching. He was texting me during this. What's up, bro? We miss seeing you. Are we done?
I think so. You want to call out again where you can find you guys?
Yeah, Joe, why don't you do it? People, people know.
Yeah. Again, thanks guys for having me on. I always love doing the show with you. You guys can find me at Red Top Report on YouTube. You can just search Red Top Report in the YouTube search bar, and you can become a premium subscriber for Red Top Report by going to Subscribestar and putting Red Top Report in the search bar. And for just $5.99 a month, you could get access to my Unalienable Rights series. You could also donate to the Kickstarter for the new Catholic media organization that I'm going to be starting with Father Calvin Robinson and Joe Gallagher called Command Media. Our Kickstarter is at commandmedia.tv. And if you like my content and just want to follow me, see what I'm doing, I'm most regularly posting on X, and you can find me there at JENDERSII. That's genders too, JENDERSII.
All righty.
This is a day that the Lord has made. It's a good day.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. Lots of white pale stuff. People are coming around on women, coming around on Israel. And
You're a better fisherman.
I'm a better fisherman, learning some angling techniques. Chris Paul was cut from his second team in what was supposed to be his victory lap season. So he's now out of the NBA. This is a good thing. He is Dark Lord of all Dark Lords, second only to LeBron James. You will see a victory stream when LeBron James announces his retirement from the NBA. I wanted to do a victory stream on Chris Paul, but he's just not as well known. Second darkest force in the NBA. He's gone. And they ruined his victory lap season. Overrated point guard that he is. The point god, they call him. Only like 20 people got that.
It's like a double entendre that you're doing right now.
What?
Dark Force.
Dark Force.
Ah.
Oh. I don't even think about that kind of double entendre when I'm talking NBA, because it would just all be dark force.
There are many dark forces in the
No, there's some light forces rising. Look
There
at the
are.
Lakers.
Yeah, there is.
The
There is.
LeBron-less Lakers has like 4 really good white guys. All right, let's cut it. This we've derailed so many times on the stream. Hopefully, it's been entertaining to watch. The takeaway is that mean Christians are the cool ones. God bless you all.